Yeah. Weekend beer skis with my friends. Yes. Yes. Hey, Michael here from Beer Baseball Blog, The Adventures of Craft Beer and Baseball. This is the Beer Baseball Hoppy Hour, episode 8 for August 14th, 2021. Wherever you are watching us live today, please give us a like and a follow and a comment. Let us know that you're out there. This is a roundtable baseball discussion. All we ask is you bring something to drink and an opinion. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. Can be water, tea, milk. But yeah, we love the craft beer, so we're going to do that. We'd always appreciate if you subscribe and turn on those notifications. This is a pro wrestling themed show.
Oh, no.
I am the former disco machine. Yes. Uh-oh. I am the former disco machine, one of the PWG6. You may have heard of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. They're doing pretty well now, but I'm no longer with them. But they're in spirit. First, batting leadoff, he's the VP of Content Development here at the Beer Baseball Blog, former ring announcer for PWG. Here with Adam Pierce, Angelo Trinidad. Welcome.
Hey, Michael. Hey, Kevin. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Thank you guys for tuning in. Daniel and Allan, great to meet you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Next, he's the rock and roller from New York City. Capital T, capital A, capital R, capital O. Big letters for a big man, Jack.
Why are you stealing my lines, Jack?
The former Taro, well, the current Taro, but the former Taro. But this is Kevin Lyon.
Greetings.
Yeah. He's now the field correspondent and senior research analyst here at the Beer Baseball Blog.
Oh. God, I'm already sweaty. Look at that. Sorry, kayfabe. Sorry. It's only been almost 20 years since I lost my mask. You know,
Exactly.
I can come back with it now on, right?
He didn't lose it. It didn't go very far.
Did it? Why can't I? You know.
You lost it, but yet you still are able to find it whenever we need it, right?
Yeah, it's just I'm like, oh my gosh, it's right there. I got lucky.
Our guest today, he's a pro wrestler, guitar player, probably the only guy on earth that has bad brains and Dick Buyer tattoos, fighting out of New Westminster. Daniel Makabe, welcome. Did I say that right? Did I pronounce your name right?
I don't know. I'm not Japanese. It's just cultural appropriation. So, Makabe. It's all the same. But
Makabe. Yeah. I meant to ask you this before the show, so let's do a rewind.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us. This is your first time on the Hoppy Hour. We totally appreciate you stopping by. Our second guest was on our Hoppy Hour before, batting cleanup from the squared circle, Diamond King. He is from the hot corner of Canada. This is the Big Hurt, Allan Jepsen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
Coming in with a lot. I'm already sweaty here too. This is
yeah, it's hot. It's warmer here than it normally is. Like it's the last month and a half has been unseasonably hot for us. Maybe not for you SoCal folks, but
I was gonna say right now where I live in Anaheim, it is partly cloudy, 86 degrees.
That's actually exactly what we got going on right now today.
Wow,
very hot for us.
Wow, that is hot for you guys.
There's a town about 3 hours from here called Lytton, British Columbia, which set the record for hottest temperature in the history of Canada in June.
Okay.
And then it broke that record the next day, and it was, I think, 119.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
yeah.
that's Phoenix on a Wednesday in August.
Yeah,
that's it.
You know?
Yeah, it cracked the hundreds here in Vancouver, which I can count how many times that's happened in my life on one hand.
Wow.
So, and then the town burned down. Yeah, I was gonna say I was omitting the sad part of the story, but yes, literally they broke the record for hottest day in the history of the country. They broke the record again the next day. And then literally the day after, the town burned down.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah. Oh,
wow. Literally from the frying pan into the fire.
Yes. Yeah. Very
yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, I love it when people complain about the heat here in California. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, And I tell this story quite a bit. Stop me if I've told it 100 times before. But in 1994, we went out and played basketball, which is what you do in Phoenix because you don't care. It's going to be hot no matter what. And we got back in, and it was 122.
Oh,
And
gosh.
that seems impressive, right? That temperature is measured in the shade. That's the way I always like to say it. So, yeah, it was pretty brutal. But we're used to it. We're used to running around and in the playing soccer and baseball and all that stuff in the heat anyway. So it didn't matter.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Awful.
And you're still here. You're still alive and running.
I am.
We're all still here. We're all still kicking it. So.
Well, I can only stand 27 years of that. So I moved to LA in 1997. So yeah, I mean, I said to myself one time, I got out of the shower and I couldn't get dry, and I said, yeah, this is no way to live a life. So when I moved out here, I get that little ocean breeze. But people say when it gets a little bit hot out here, oh my. No, you don't know heat.
No.
You don't know heat. So, okay. So Daniel, Allan, I really wanted to, start at the beginning. And you probably think I'm going to ask you about your pro wrestling. But okay, so all of our ties are pro wrestling. So obviously Kevin was a wrestler. Angelo, we met through wrestling, being a ring announcer. I mean, we obviously corresponded because we all have been pro wrestlers at one point. But the common thread with all of us is pro wrestling, but also baseball. So how did you become baseball fans? And how passionate are you?
You want to start? Well, I've grown up playing baseball, so it was from an early start that my love came in, and I was a Blue Jays fan growing up because in Canada you're basically forced to be a Blue Jays fan until you have access to check other teams out. Then I became a Mariners fan in the early 2000s when I was able to start going to games. So
awesome.
Fairly similar origin story to Al. Played baseball growing up, from an early age, 5-6 years old, playing t-ball, going to Vancouver Canadians games as a kid, which you guys are both repping the Canadians, which is cool. Back when they were AAA affiliate for the California Angels.
Yep. I know.
As a kid, and then I was actually at the last regular season AAA game they ever played, which I think was 2002.
It's been that long
before they came back as a short season single A affiliate. Shortly thereafter, I think they were only gone for maybe a year, and then came back as a single A team. Grew up going to Canadians games, playing Little League, that sort of thing. I used to always say that the greatest moment of my childhood was Joe Carter hitting the walk-off in the 93 World Series, because that's one of those things I can tell you exactly where I was, when it happened. I wasn't watching it. I was actually at Boy Scout camp, but I remember one of the scout leaders had the radio going, and we were all sitting around the fire listening to the World Series, and Joe Carter hits that walk-off with the amazing play-by-play call, the My Oh My, or not My Oh My, that's
Mariners.
It's Mariners. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger one in your life.
That's right.
Same thing. Kind of you grow up a Blue Jays fan in this country. I mean, the Expos were still around, but just due to geography, I mean, we're way on the West Coast, and the Jays got preferential treatment on television and radio and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And it wasn't until the 95 Mariners had their big run when I started to kind of take notice of, Ken Griffey Jr. and Jay Buhner and Dan Wilson, who I actually happened to meet at a Mariners convention we went to a couple years ago. So,
no kidding.
Cool. And that's so that kind of took hold, and admittedly I'm not as diehard as Al is, and I struggle to keep up with so many things in your life when it's wrestling and music and soccer, obviously, by the big Chelsea flag on my wall. My love of baseball has waned in recent years. Certainly the fact that I haven't been able to go to a live game in all these years because of the pandemic. So I'm struggling. I'm a fair weather Mariners fan as we speak, I will say. But the history, is there and will always be there. I've got a passion for baseball and attending games live, certainly, and talking too, apparently. So, but
no, that works. I mean, this is a talk show, so more talking the better, absolutely. And so like when you guys wrestle and go these different places, well, before the pandemic, did you guys ever just like hit up, a baseball field or a games, within your travels as well?
With Seattle, I would always plan it around the weekend. If there's baseball games and wrestling, I would go, and then try and hit, Everett once in a while and things like that. But, in terms of traveling outside of Seattle to watch games, I didn't get to do much of it because I haven't been too many places.
He's gone to, we're kind of in competition to see who can go to all 30 of the major league parks first.
Oh, right on.
And we were pretty neck and neck for a while. I think he's ahead of me now by a couple.
At 16.
You're at 16. I think I'm at 12 or 13. I've been lucky in that I've had a couple out-of-state bookings where I have managed to piggyback it with a game. The most recent one, and actually I think it was the last game I went to, I went to the Mets home opener in 2019.
Oh, right on.
At Citi Field, which was the same weekend as WrestleMania in New York, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I had like half a dozen bookings in New Jersey, and I managed to sneak away and take about 7 trains to get from Jersey City to Flushing, Queens, to go to a game.
Yeah,
and
Flushing
back in time for a booking that night. So
it's so out there.
Yeah.
It's so far out there. Like I was staying in Brooklyn, it would take me an hour and a half to get to. I almost said Shea to Citi Field. It's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the great things, and tell me if this happened when you were at this game, is that every Mets opener, they introduce all the crowd. Can you hear me okay? You guys are pixelated.
We can hear you very well.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So, so they introduce like all of the staff. So we're talking like coaches, we're talking like training, strength and conditioning. Whenever they introduce the trainers, the Mets home fans boo the trainers. They boo them like out of the park. Do you remember that happening when you were there?
I don't recall, but admittedly, I went with a couple friends who they literally bust in from New Jersey because one of my old wrestling buddies and who no longer wrestles, him and his entire family, they go to every Mets home opener, and there was this massive like tailgate section that I got integrated into. And so I don't recall getting into the park in time for, the announcements and all the introductions and stuff. So that wouldn't shock me though. It seems like the type of thing that New Yorkers would do, but
it's become a tradition and I watch for it every year.
Well, I can only imagine, especially right now when they have guys like DeGrom and Lindor on
Syndergaard,
the field. I can see why they're mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back, was he 2009? Cespedes was.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was there yet, but he might have been. But I mean, they have a David Wright. They have all the track record of like a lot of people, a lot of time on the injured list. Yeah. Before we get started, we always like to go around and see what everybody's drinking, what everybody's wearing. I'm gonna switch it around here. So, whoa. Don't get sick.
Whoa.
Doing a little flippy.
Yes. So,
hey, I'm saying he'll do some flips here and there. It's easier to do them in the ring.
So I think the last time we talked about a lot of beers that were craft beers that were related. Kevin, did you look up this beer? Did you find out anything more about this?
I didn't # do the research. I mean, I went on a beer run last weekend, and so this brewery is called Aero Lodge. It's in Covina, California. The next beer you're going to see is literally like a quarter of a mile away.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that just seemed crazy to me. And so this beer here just came out, and I literally bought the last that they had. Yeah, and they made this, and I was like, really? And obviously oh, I'm sure it's official. What kayfabe. And all the only notes on Untapped is it's a West Coast style double IPA with Citra, Mosaic, and Strata.
Yeah, and that's what it says on the front. So it's called
really well done, and it's like 9.5%. So I didn't start with that one, because I'm like, whew, that's a finisher. Yeah, Angelo's starting with it.
Yeah, and it's obviously when we saw this, we're just like, hey, we got to have a hoppy hour coming up. We definitely got to get on this one, and thank goodness it was still available. Arrow Lodge Brewing, and Covina Craft Beer. So I'm having that.
I'm going to try something from them.
Yeah, I'm sipping it. So we have a coherent show. The next one that we actually tried to get this for the last time and we weren't able to, but it came out again. So this is a Lost Brewing, also in Covina, I believe, right?
Yeah, like I said, it's literally like a quarter of a mile. I couldn't believe it when I saw it on the map when I was going to deliver it to you. I was like, I could walk from one of these to the other. Like it's that close,
Amazing.
So, Angelo, before we go into this one, I wanted to go back to this one. Angelo, what do you think? You're with this one right today?
Yeah, this one's really good. Obviously there's no IBU listed on Untapped, but I figured at 9.2% IBU would be pretty high.
Yeah,
but it's not. I mean, it's definitely kind of within. I would say it's more within your wheelhouse, Michael. My guess would be between 65 and 70.
Yeah,
would be where it is. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And it's kind of deceiving because at being at 9 point, it says 9.2 on the can.
9.2.
So, it's a bit deceiving. If you were to just drink this straight and you didn't know the alcohol content, it might it might give you a little bit later on a little moment to pause.
I'm halfway done with this one, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah,
and I pregame. That's why I'm saving that one.
Yes.
Friends like, hey, you want to go to local brewery? I'm like, go to my brewery down the street. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so this is one we've wanted for a long time. Obviously, Chavo Guerrero has been a big part of this. Or
this
Chavito.
is official.
Yeah, so like, they do a lot of promotions with him. We tried to get this for the last time, and it was. I think they only had like a can of it, but thank goodness. Yeah, it worked out really well. And
this past week on the show, and Dan, you might be interested in this. Helmet made a beer with them. The band Helmet.
Interesting.
It was just a Kolsch, and the can is literally the logo for the album Betty.
Because Helmet are New York based. Am I wrong?
They are.
Okay, I thought they must obviously live here now. Because literally, I had it on the show Tuesday, and I saw that night a couple of members of Helmet were actually at this brewery, Alosta.
Yeah.
Like doing a meet and greet, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. There's actually, there's a lot of bands. I think we talked about it last, maybe not on this one, but bands like the Deftones, Sublime has a beer. And so like a lot of bands now are doing collaborations and doing beers that with different types of craft breweries. So, I think it's really cool too, because whenever I describe kind of the craft beer scene to people, it has a lot of punk rock tones to it. And there's my girlfriend who it's funny because her Twitter is Mosh Pit Queen. And so she always talks about like the punk mentality, and she talks about more accurately the mosh pit mentality, which is if you fall down, we'll pick you up. And so they have. So one thing I noticed about craft beer, and we were actually doing craft beer events, doing the social media for it, and we found this really great supportive community. And of course, craft beer, we're like, oh my God, this is like it's like finding a diamond in the rough, and we're like, oh my God, look at all these people. And like, for instance, most businesses are pretty like, hey, we'll squash the competition. In craft beer, it seems to be very supportive, and like they'll do collaborations. Like for instance, they'll say to each other like, "Hey, I need to brew this, and all my machines are down." And they're like, "Hey, we have some open machines, or we need hops. How do we get hops? And hops is like gold right now. So and so it's like really super valuable. So to like share it is kind of rare. But this community really helps each other. They support each other. There's a whole women's scene of craft brewing.
Yep.
Which the Pink Boots Society, and So it's always about, really expanding the punk rock part of this whole thing. And I love comparing it to punk rock. But it's like punk rock, but it's also like, pop-up chefs, basically. You're like,
I
you
said
get
the
these
DIY.
like,
No.
yeah, DIY for sure, and or like when a chef does a little pop up and you get this like great cuisine, and you only can get it for a certain time, and so I love that aspect of craft beer, and that's what really kind of really inspired us to do craft beer with baseball, because it was obviously we're passionate about baseball, but like the craft beer element has really helped as well. And I wanted to ask you, Daniel, specifically because you're not a big drinker, but that's okay. I mean, but there's other things. Like for instance, I have in here, and I'm going to use it probably for another show that I do. I do a like a pumpkin carving show with some other friends, and then we also have beer on there too. But I have a tea that's brewed with hops.
Yes.
And so, like, I want to bring that in, and there's kombucha, and there's other types of things that you can drink that aren't craft beer. So, what are some things that maybe you enjoy that maybe we wouldn't know about?
So it's funny you mentioned that. So wanting to fit in and probably failing in the process. I went looking for one of my favorite kombuchas, which is a actually probably my favorite. There's a kombucha brewery, for lack of a better word, in Bellingham, which we mentioned, I guess off there now. But it's just a college town 20 miles south of the U.S.-Canada border, called Kombucha Town, who make really good stuff. They make a hop flavored kombucha that I actually really like a lot. And all their stuff is readily available in a lot of restaurants and cafes and convenience stores and gas stations all over Washington State. You cannot find their stuff up here in British Columbia, even though they're literally 20 miles away from the border. But there's another kombucha brewery, again, I don't know if that's the correct term or not, based in Oregon that I really like, called Hum. And they've got one they do that's a grapefruit hops.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's really good. And my ex-girlfriend used to say, like, you might as well just drink beer. Like, why are you drinking this? It tastes like a grapefruit sour. And you know what? You say I'm not much a drinker. I'm not a drinker at all. Like, I haven't had anything to drink. This coming January will be 20 years, which the fact that I remember that makes me sound like I'm a recovering alcoholic, which is not the case. I was one of those pesky straight edge kids growing up, going to local hardcore shows. And I've never really grown out of that. And I like a lot of the things you mentioned, the camaraderie and the kind of underground nature. I like a lot of the artwork and the packaging. Yes. and those things sort of associated with craft beer, but I still have no desire to drink it. With that being said, I went to a local organic market here in New Westminster, where I live, where we're broadcasting from. And Al used to live here too, and he lives just across the river in Surrey from me, which is like an 8-minute drive, which is why we're here today and on the same couch. But I went to a local organic market looking for that particular kombucha because I thought I had seen it there before, and unfortunately they did not have it. This is where you guys are going to make fun of me probably. But what they did have, and I figured I would try it to try and fit in with the team, is a and I've seen these in like organic markets here. It's from Montreal, I believe. It's a Canadian brewery called Sober Carpenter. And they do exclusively non-alcoholic beers.
Okay.
And
Nice.
a non-alcoholic craft beer as per the label. So this is Sober Carpenter's Organic Session IPA.
Okay.
I do not like the taste of beer.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna like this.
I'm probably not gonna like this.
That's exactly what
As soon as I told him I was buying this, he's like, "You're not gonna like this." So,
Yeah.
but I figured when in Rome, I know, like, I'm guessing, non-alcoholic beer is kind of like the ugly stepchild of the craft beer scene. But
That's right.
but this is the best you're gonna get out of me, guys. So
No.
All right.
And we appreciate that you made the effort.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
there is a my girlfriend is she actually likes the sours. It's only because she's a super taster, so like the hops are probably too much for her. But also the she's not like a super beer drinker. Like I said, my wheelhouse is like 7% alcohol, 70 like IBUs, which is like kind of the bitterness of it. So that's kind of like my wheelhouse. But then like if we get the barrel aged stuff, like she loves that and stuff like that. But she's noticing that like she can only have it in moderation because of her stomach issues. But then when we started getting stuff like there's gluten-free beers, there's the kombuchas, which she loves, the non-alcoholics. She was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And to me, it seemed like it seemed like what is it, like Sprite, like a flat Sprite. But I'm
sure if you're used to drinking stuff with
well, that's just it. I go and but that it all comes with a more developed palate as well.
Yeah.
So again, everybody's.
I'm the same way with coffee. So I'm famously
interesting.
And more of a coffee guy, and my girlfriend has to dilute hers with whatever she can, sugar, milk, oat milk, whatever. Whereas and I typically only drink it iced, but I want it black, and I want to try all the different roasteries, and I'm bitter or whatever. I'll try it. So we're gonna give this a shot. This is 30 IBU, which doesn't seem very high. Uses Galaxy hops, which are known for their exceptionally bright and tropical flavors, and that's exactly what you'll get with our Organic Session IPA, an intense aromatic profile with a moderately bitter finish. So this is the first beer, non-alcoholic or otherwise, I've had, and I'm
loving the smirk on Alan's face as you're opening this.
He's waiting for me to make a bitter beer face like those
that's all right.
MGD commercials. But here we go.
Yes, because I actually did have a legitimate question for you.
It's okay.
I'll wait for beer face to finish.
I could drink this. It's cold. It's warm out, so this is hitting the spot. So yeah,
perfect.
I don't know. It'll do. We're here for a couple hours, so I got another one in. I got another one in the cooler. So
all right,
nice. Yeah, just like baseball, we have no time limit here. So so this we make it last. Go for it, Kevin.
Daniel, I was going to ask you because a couple breweries around here actually make coffee as well. Like Modern Times is one that's well known around this area, and they actually do make coffee as well. Are you aware? Is there any like breweries in the Vancouver, British Columbia area that actually makes coffee as well? Or would you know that, Alan?
Yeah, there's one in North Vancouver called House of Funk that they do like a monthly coffee subscription.
I've heard of places that will maybe do partnerships with some of the local roasteries to make coffee flavored beers.
Right.
Stouts and porters.
Yeah, some darker stuff. But otherwise, I personally haven't had any coffees made by local breweries.
Okay,
so.
I was just curious. It's rare, and I just didn't know if that was even a thing up there. Right on.
Yeah, there are a couple. I think they're becoming more and more popular, just because stouts and porters are becoming more and more popular too. Yeah. So a lot of them are just like, oh, okay, well, we'll do our own stuff then. So the House of Funk is the only one that I know of.
Okay.
And like at this point, I think me and my wife there are only 4 breweries left in the Lower Mainland that we haven't been to out of like 40 or something like that. So I can't really recall too many coffee places in them.
Gotcha.
Cool. So real quick, but I wanted to. I'm going to solo you guys. I want to know what you guys are wearing.
Right.
What you
gotta get Alan's gear too. I saw him drinking a beer.
Yes, and your beer as well. What do you got there?
Because I see that mask, I gotta know what that shirt is, Alan.
There we go. I'm drinking a Pog Sour from Deep Cove Brewing.
Oh, right on.
So
nice.
That's also North Vancouver.
Yeah. So it's a kettle sour. It's only 5%, which is pretty low for a kettle sour. But it's I figured lower percentage. If I'm gonna have a few, probably a good way to start.
Very cool.
What are you wearing?
For hat today, I went with a Hat Club alternate.
Yes.
The chocolate brown and oatmeal hops. And then for shirt, it's San Diego shirt. It's Lucha Libre Taco Shop.
Oh, wow.
Okay, right on. I saw the mask, but I didn't get the rest of that. Right on.
I forgot I had this thing in the closet because it's been probably 10 years since I've worn this. So,
did you actually get to go down there?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Cool.
I know they've got.
That's what I bought.
I was gonna say, did you buy it at the park? Because I
bought this at the actual shop.
At the shop. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they do have one at the park at Petco.
Yes, they do.
At Petco.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, it's been 5 or 6 years since I've been down there, but yeah.
I couldn't believe when I saw they had the Lucha Libre talk. I was like, oh, they made it, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't really made it once
Yeah,
they got their second location because they have a much bigger location now.
That place is awesome.
My claim to fame is I'm in their bathroom. I have a picture of me in their bathroom.
That's good.
Yes, I'm avoiding a cross-body block from Los Luchas.
Oh, hopefully it's not anywhere near like one of the urinals or something. Like
I think it was right above the toilet, and somebody sent me the picture. So that if that's my legacy, then
that's your claim to fame. Yeah. As far as what I'm wearing, I'm a hack and I'm wearing my own merchandise.
It's okay.
I'm wearing a Danny Makabe shirt. This is one that I did. This was about a year and a half ago now. Yeah. And it's meant to look very modern, arty. A lot of it's based on actually a Los Angeles-based painter named Cleon Peterson. I really liked his work, and so a friend of mine who's a visual artist up here in Vancouver named Ricky Castaneda Laredo. That's me attempting to do Spanish really fast. He's a huge fan of that style of art as well, so I got him to do something that looked as kind of obtuse and just modern arty as possible. So there's a lot of little references to just wrestling and stuff, but it also just kind of looks all over the map. And I wore it because it matches my hat, which is a Chattanooga Lookouts hat.
Well done.
Which is a AA franchise from Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I was last weekend wrestling. So
nice.
We happened to be in downtown Chattanooga grabbing a bite to eat, and we were right near the park. And they weren't playing, but I said, "Hey, can someone bring me over to the gift shop because I wanted a hat as a souvenir?" And it's funny, I actually came to Chattanooga wearing one of my Vancouver Canadians hats, which is very similar to the one that you guys are wearing, but with a red brim.
Yes.
And it's almost identical to the Chattanooga Lookouts hat that I got, except, the C is a little bit of a different shape, and you replace the big baseball in the middle of the Canadian C with the little emoji eyes, and that's basically it. But,
yes.
Yeah,
I was looking forward to hearing how you got the hat, because I remember when you wrestled there 2 years ago for the SCI, I was like, please tell me you're getting a Lookouts game. And you're like, nope, it's not going to work out. I'm like,
I was going to say it almost never works out. It's only on those WrestleMania weekends where you can get weird like afternoon shows and multiple shows in a weekend.
Right.
Typically, if I'm going somewhere for a booking, you're probably wrestling on a Saturday night where you're going heads up with the game, and maybe you can luck into flying in a day early or day out, day afterward. But quite often promoters are quite happy to get you whatever the cheapest flight they can get you in and out on. And so
you don't
That's
say.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do say. I'm sure you,
Mr. Promoter Michael Mondragon. I'm just kidding.
Especially West
guilty.
Coasters like us, right? When you're involving crossing continents and stuff, and time zones.
Yep.
So, if the Lookouts had been home for an afternoon, I think they weren't even at home the weekend that I was there. But But
at least the store was open.
The store was open, and they had some cool stuff. They had stuff, some alternate hats, alternate colors and stuff. I just figured I'd go with the kind of the classic. I think this is their road cap actually, but
that's a cool looking hat though. That's a nice hat.
I dig it. So and it's funny because every single wrestler and person helping out with the show from Chattanooga, they immediately picked up on it. They saw me at the show saying, "Oh, hey, you're wearing a Lookouts hat." Like, whoa,
yes.
They know, like everyone is on it. I mean, it's not a huge town, so I guess it's very canon there. So,
and it's okay that you're wearing your own merch
because,
and I think we can all relate to this.
Yeah,
you're a worker, bro.
And here's the other thing. This is something that I did a couple of years ago. I exclusively print on soft style t-shirts. I don't do anything on the rough kind of Gildan shirts or Fruit of the Loom. And I end up sacrificing that's that. I end up sacrificing a little bit of profit margin, but fans notice and I notice, and I have one of every shirt that I've ever done for myself. And so it's comfortable. So I just
as a graphic designer, you're a man after my own heart.
Yeah.
That attention to quality and sacrificing that little bit. And I have something that I'm going to show later that is a fruit of my labor that I can't believe how good something turned out. And I'm going to actually show you the same thing. So, much in that same vein.
I need Daniel, was that your actual first matches last weekend since COVID?
I've had a couple. I wrestled. So COVID hit in March of 2020, and I was in Germany.
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up, because I was if you weren't.
Yeah, and so I actually lucked out in that they were the biggest shows I'd ever worked for. Worked on for WXW, who's maybe the biggest independent promotion in Europe. And like 1,500 each night, and even the afternoon, like the pre-shows had like 500-600 people at them. And then literally the Monday after that weekend of shows, everything shut down in the country, and I flew from Germany to England. England was very slow to adopt restrictions, and so while the rest of the world was going crazy shutting things down, England was just like, it's same old. And I wrestled in front of hundreds of people in a couple shows in England, and then came back to Canada and didn't have anything for 7 months. And it was around that time that the school here was still open. We were doing a little bit of training here at the school. It's maybe like 2 miles from here. It's very close to where Al lives. We were actually there training this morning. And so we're doing a little bit of training, some training shows for some of the new students. And then I had one match in Indiana for kind of a big festival of shows called The Collective.
Oh, you were on The Collective shows. Okay.
I wrestled Lee Moriarty there, who is one of the...
I just got to see Lee for the first time at PWG a couple weeks ago. Seen his name, never saw him. He had a great match with Gresham. I got to see him with Jonathan Gresham.
So you saw him wrestle Gresham. The first time those two guys wrestled was like 6 hours after I wrestled Lee.
Oh,
so Lee wrestled, those Collective shows were like 4 shows in a day, like back to back to back to back.
Yep.
And I wrestled Lee in the afternoon, and then he wrestled Gresham at night. And I was there watching it, and it was one of the best matches I saw live in quite some time. And as soon as I saw they were doing the same thing in LA, I was like, yeah, more power to people everywhere need to realize how good he is. He's still very young. He also has kind of a baseball vibe to him. I don't know if he's a baseball fan. Have we ever?
I don't know if he is either. I think he might be a little bit of a Pirates fan. But
yeah, he's from Pittsburgh. He's got like Hanshin Tigers inspired gear that he wrestles.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that. Yeah, because he wrestled at PWG, and I was thinking the same thing. Right.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to reach out to him because I met Tony Deppin after the last PWG show.
Yeah,
and he was wearing a Daniel Makabe shirt. Coincidentally enough.
There you go.
That's your new name. Your name is Daniel Makabe, by the way.
Sorry, Makabe. Sorry, I say it like Togi. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's what it is. I mean, I took the name from Togi. I took it from Shinya Makabe.
Shinya. Yeah, there you go.
Before he was Togi, but
yeah.
And that has a long, stupid story to it. But but yeah, I've had people call me Makabe, like it's a Scottish last name. So Makabe, whatever. I've had some women make pass at me and call me Makabe with the AE on the end. So
I go. By the way, Chattanooga the first time people tried to say your name. You know.
Yeah.
By the way. Yep. So we joked about this because if you wrestle in Southern California.
Yes.
At some point, you would have a lucha name.
Oh no!
And do you know how you acquire a lucha name?
I'm dying to know now.
Okay. So when you wrestle, like for instance, I'm Disco Machine, correct?
Yeah.
But on a poster for a lucha show, I was listed as Deco Machine. So that becomes my lucha name, Deco Machine. Kevin was Ultrataro Jr. at the time, but it was misspelled as Ultaro Jr.
Ultra Row.
Yeah.
Junior on the same flyer.
Yeah.
On the same flyer.
Yeah. American Wild Child was just Child Wild. So that's his lucha name. There was a guy named Yakuza, and it was Yazuza.
Yep.
There was a guy named Mr. Excitement, and he was Mr. Excite. So a bunch of misspellings becomes your lucha name.
It's so lucha. So lucha.
So Daniel Makabe is now your lucha name because we mispronounced it.
No, it's fair. I got to say, I actually have a collection of photos on my phone of every time my last name has been misspelled on a run sheet on shows that I've been on. And I've got quite a few. Most of them are from the same promotion that I used to work for, and they misspelled it multiple different ways over the course of a year. So anytime that would come up, I take a picture of it and save it because
that's great.
Yeah. There used to be and he's kind of vilified now. It was a guy named Billy Fire. If you're familiar with 80s rock and roll.
Yeah.
And he had a clause in it that he would get a payoff every time his name was spelled wrong on a marquee.
Oh no.
He actually had pull back then. It was like the early 80s. I thought that was pretty awesome. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's similar to the Van Halen M&M's thing where you just plunk that into your rider to make sure that people are actually reading it. Right?
100%. 100%. So, Angelo, okay, I wanted to throw it to you. What is your knowledge of Daniel and Allan? Do you have knowledge? Angelo and Kevin are still in wrestling. Like I watch with one eye, but Kevin and Angelo are still in wrestling. Angelo, do you know of these two individual talents?
Yeah, so I've learned a lot about Allan in the last Hoppy Hour. I'd known about the gimmick because it's baseball related, so I popped for that immediately. But it was great getting to hear your guys' conversation. I have seen some of Daniel's work. I'm pretty familiar with 3-2-1 Battle and stuff like that. You've worked, I saw you worked Timothy Thatcher a couple times as well. So who's really awesome. But yeah, so I mean, pretty familiar with the both of you guys now. And really, my question kind of geared towards Kevin's question or Michael's question is, what. In the wake of not getting any bookings or not having accessibility to bookings in 7-8 months, how did you guys manage to continue to keep your name out there and be relevant? So I mean, obviously we're all kind of challenged with the same challenges, but what did you guys do to keep your names relevant? And how have you guys adjusted now that shows have started back up?
Through most of the pandemic, I was trying to do little clips and little kind of fake press conference promos here and there. I just, throughout the whole thing, I just did a lot of kind of learning. I took so many online seminars, as many as I could. If they came up, I would jump at them and take them as a chance to learn. The school wasn't that open, so it just opened up again about a month ago. And so I've just been being able to get back in the ring finally. So it's been pretty hard to stay relevant, especially because I wasn't getting, the near amount of bookings that Dan does. But, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's fine. He's getting booked in Chattanooga.
Exactly. No big deal. But no, as we start to get closer, just because the border still isn't even open yet to drive through. I have a couple flights booked for a couple shows in the U.S. Like I got Seattle coming up, and I got one in potentially L.A.-ish.
Oh,
really?
So I can't say too much more about it yet, but I can tell you guys after probably.
Cool.
But yeah, probably.
But I'd love to see Daniel somewhere in L.A. too, but not that I would know anybody there. I mean.
Yeah. But yeah,
I used to have hookups.
I've been doing.
I will say in regards to Allan, I'm going to talk about him now because I've talked about him myself too much. he kind of made the switch to the baseball gimmick and going all in on the baseball gimmick not too long before things kind of shut down.
Yeah.
Like it was only maybe 3 or 4 months before, but I'm very impressed that he did a really good job of kind of reinventing himself, and investing, money, but also time in reinventing himself. He's doing the press conference style gimmicks, like promos. He's got all the gear that is just like straight out of Sandlot baseball, kind of with the PF Flyers, and so like I like that he found something that he's really passionate about, and to me that's how you get successful, right? Like I'm really passionate about about music and making weird faces and technical wrestling, right? And so I took that and have parlayed it into so much more than I could ever hope for, right? The fact that I was over in Europe like 3 or 4 times right before the pandemic, the fact that I was in Chattanooga this past weekend, that I've got stuff lined up. As long as the border opens up, I've got a nice little schedule coming through the back half of 2021. And it's because, a couple years prior, I really invested in myself and gained a following within the Northwest, specifically at 3-2-1 Battle. A lot of it was due to those matches with Tim Thatcher that you mentioned, Angelo, because before that, no one outside of Seattle really knew who I was. And just kind of parlaying, you find something that not only connects with people, but that you really connect with, right? Because if you're faking it, people can tell, right?
100%.
But if it's something that you're passionate about, and so Al's gone through a series of gimmicks, and we used to team way back in the day too.
Oh wow!
But
that's what I was going to ask you.
We were just kind of guys who kind of like baseball, I guess, but are just kind of generic average guys, right? And it wasn't until I really I went at it with the wrestling genius gimmick, and I kind of changed my whole demeanor, and I switched to the soccer jersey gear, which that in itself has taken its own life on itself. Yep. And that's when people started to connect with me, and that's when people wanted to see me in their parts of the world, and that's when you basically make yourself undeniable, right? You make yourself to the point where people in Chattanooga would have probably been upset if I wasn't there this past weekend, because I was the defending champion and blah, 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 blah. The promoters had to make me a part of it, right? So I like the fact that he's really investing himself, and he's doing something that, there's other people doing baseball gimmicks, but I don't think people are doing it quite to the same degree that he is. Yeah. And, it's just time, it's only time before he's getting more and more bookings outside of the area as well, because people are going to go, oh, I want to see the baseball beer guy. Of course I do. Like, who doesn't love that gimmick, right? And, we're investing in ourselves in that. The school is open again. We are able to train. And, me personally, since April, I did wrestle in Florida, April for WrestleMania, and really wasn't happy with my performances there. And subsequently, I've lost 25 pounds since April. A lot of weight I put on because of COVID and pandemic, and we're all sitting around doing nothing and whatever. Yeah. But we both kind of realized, we're not young guys as far as independent wrestling goes, and we only have a finite amount of time left. So, now is the time to invest in yourself. Now is the time to make a change. Now is the time to make yourself undeniable. And when things are open and we're able to cross the border more freely, and shows are happening more regularly here in British Columbia, which is looking like after September, things are going to open up a little bit more, where you can actually have full attendance and not as many regulations. Like currently in British Columbia, you can't run a show with more than 50 people in attendance. So it's not, financially, economics just don't make sense to do it. But as of September, things are going to open up a little bit more. We'll be able to travel more, and you'll hopefully be seeing us in a lot more places, including Southern California. I don't have bookings in Southern California. It sounds like he does. So,
yeah, we
never wrestled down here, because that's when we first started talking. You mentioned you came down for Bola before, and I was like, yeah, shoot, how did I never meet you?
Well, I mean, and we've been friends for almost 20 years now, and one of the first kind of big trips that we took, I think he brought it up the last time he was on, was the two of us and 5 other guys rented a minivan and drove straight from from Vancouver to Reseda in one straight shot for 2 nights Ebola. We missed the Friday. We got there Saturday afternoon, and we got Saturday night and the Sunday night, and then we drove straight home afterwards.
That was awful.
And I think we spent 36 hours in California, or in Southern California specifically.
What was that? Was that when I wrestled Austin Aries?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy cow!
We
Wow.
Is that the one we
That's
watched?
And we actually went back on for my birthday last year. We were sitting around. This is when we were still living together, and we rewatched that whole tournament. And it was
Wow! Oh my god!
2006. And like, admittedly, the big draw was seeing Super Dragon and Necro Butcher.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh,
yeah.
my God,
That was.
And if you go back and watch those matches, you can see
I don't
us
know if
in
I
the
wanna
front row
watch
going
that.
crazy.
It's insane. That whole
Good.
tournament. I was actually supposed to wrestle Cole Cabana the day before.
Yeah.
And something happened. I think it was Brian Danielson was supposed to be there and wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Somebody got canceled, and then so like everything got switched around. But I
know a couple of things got switched around that tournament. I know TJP was supposed to wrestle, I think, Davey.
I remember
And
that.
He was a last minute substitution because
Right.
I think he showed up really late, and
He showed
Ronan
up
took his
really
spot.
late.
Yeah.
I remember,
That's
I
right.
remember
Okay,
that.
that's right. You got taken off of it probably.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
of that.
yeah.
That sounds like a Super Dragon move. Like
Especially
nope.
against. I said, oh gosh, I could really reveal a lot
I
here.
was gonna say we
now.
don't need to rip into some former contemporaries of yours.
Oh my god! Well, I mean, it was 2006. I think the statute of limitations is off.
All I will tell
Well,
you is,
I'm going to tell you, I'm still on shows with the person you might be wanting to rip into.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. 100%.
and all I will tell you is that what I was told by someone in the match was, oh yeah, I got knocked out in the first punch, and then we wrestled like 30 minutes after that.
Yes.
If you go back and
I
watch
might
that
know one
match,
of the two competitors.
you can see him get knocked out with I think it's the second punch. Yeah,
Yeah.
legitimately. You can see his body just go limp. So.
Yeah.
And they literally wrestled 30 minutes after that, and I'm just like,
And I have a really great
Sometimes-
story that I cannot tell you on this broadcast. I'll tell you afterwards.
that's
So-
for the Patreon.
Yeah, it is for the Patreon. Please, I might that might be our $1,000 Patreon right there. But what I'm gonna do, because Angelo only has a 30-minute window to do this, I'm actually gonna jump to something baseball card sharks.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump to this, and then we can continue our conversation because this is awesome. I love just like chit chatting. This is what the Hoppy Hour is all about.
I can't
Talking
believe
about-
it's almost an hour.
We've actually got an hour, so I definitely want to throw this in.
Sorry.
Let me see if I can add this to the stream. Can I do it?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
you got the
good.
new board.
That was
Yes.
so
let
good.
me remove this.
Oh yeah, the $1,000 Patreon. There we go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Let's see here. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Tell you, we got a new board.
That looks
Woo,
great.
look at that. It's perfect.
Thank you to Angelo, who actually he's gonna have one of these boards for him on his Saturday shows. Let me move this over a little bit, but this
Mine's
is
the
baseball
one-
card sharks.
Mine's supposed to be arriving today, so I'm excited.
Yes, I love this, and okay, so let me lay out the ground rules here. So what we do is we have 4 spots right here. 3 more right here, 1 right here. We have a bench cards of 3. Oop, let me hit that camera. Okay, so we have 11 cards. Okay, so what we're gonna do is something something unique here. So let me reach down here. So in honor of our my man Mr. Excitement Ed Brown, he actually gave us this is 1989 baseball.
Oh man.
As you see, he gave us a whole complete set of 484 cards. So the Griffey Jr. is here. And as you can see, hopefully
That's sealed, or did he take the Griffey card out?
it was sealed, and I took it out. So actually, let me go right here. Yeah, he might have taken it out, but it was sealed at the time. But he gave it to us.
Me, sir. He gave it to me to give to you. So.
Yes, of course.
Also, I have the Griffey ear in my personal
So
collection.
there you go. The Griffey Juniors. Now these cards are
That's an amazing
oversized.
photo.
These aren't the regular size cards. They're actually oversized, obviously. If you know anything about these cards, but this is the complete set. So what I did was I separated out into infielders and pitchers. So what we're gonna do this, I'm gonna throw this to Angelo because Angelo's gonna be our first up. So I want you to pick one, and then we're gonna pick a category. So for instance, like career batting average, or steals or something like that. So you're gonna pick either infielders or a pitching statistic. We're gonna lay down the cards, and then basically we're gonna turn them over. And you basically have to guess the next card. So, Angela, let's just go through a thing. You know how to play this, and then maybe that'll help.
Michael?
Yes.
Quick question. You said infielders. Are outfielders not included in this?
Infielders, outfielder, any position player.
Position player.
Fielding
I
position.
want to verify. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have that's the difference between pitchers. So a pitching statistic is different, obviously, than a fielding statistic,
Right.
or batting
I just wanted
statistic.
to verify. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did pitchers on Tuesday, so let's do fielding positions,
Heck
Okay.
yeah.
So. All right.
and then for statistic, let's do career batting average.
Career
All right.
batting average. It's a high low.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do this. Now this is the fun
Sorry,
part
Alan
about this.
and Daniel. You'll be ready.
These cards do not. They have an autograph, but no, you don't know who it is on the front.
That's Royce Clayton, sir.
It is Royce Clayton, but sometimes you don't know who these players are. So we're gonna go through this. So
That might be the
first
game is identify the player.
Yes. All right. So all right, Smarty, who's this? Montreal Expo. I actually think I might know who it is, but
It looks like is that an O? Steve Ontiveros.
that's a great guess, but I don't think that's it.
I have no idea.
Okay, so that's his second card.
I don't know. We're not gonna find out who it is. That's even better.
Well, we'll find out when we turn it over.
Chili
So-
Oh, I
Davis.
know that one.
Chili Davis. This is a angel because he's an angel. There you go. So
Yep.
that's your third card. This is a really interesting card. He was actually third base coach for a lot of the same. Actually, probably all of the San Francisco Giants World Series teams.
Clarity.
2010. That's it.
Tim Flannery.
Tim Flannery. There you
Oh,
go.
right on. I saw him. He was I believe he was the manager of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes back when they first started.
Oh wow! Pick this
Oh,
one.
Side
Holy
note,
cow!
everyone, look up his Tim Flannery's either 87, I think it's 88 Fleer card is amazing. It's an amazing card. Him with the surfboard. Great card.
Oh yes, exactly. So I have no idea who this is. So he's a Texas Ranger. That is in the
Sam?
second row. This one's super easy. Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
Hey,
Alan
he's from my
Trammell.
hometown, Garden Grove, California.
Double G.
That's right. In the heart of the OC. Oh,
one's-
Ooh, wow.
there you go. Eric Davis.
Yeah.
All right.
Eric Davis, right?
All-star set right here.
Yeah.
That's a tough battle right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
All right. Next up. Oh, this one's interesting. See if you can get this one. I know who it is, and even if I say it, you probably won't even know who it is.
Roberto Kelly?
There you go. Yeah.
How'd I know?
All right.
RC
So now-
Killa, that's how he signed his cards.
So now our board is filled out, and now we have 3 bench cards. So these are the people, like, for instance, if we turn this over and we want to change it, we can go to our bench.
Oh, okay.
So who's this guy?
Whoa, look at that guy.
Big Mac. Let's go.
You got Big Mac on the bench. Isn't that a great card? Okay, so there's you on your bench.
He just
Paul O'Neill.
1990
Paul O'Neill.
1990 World Series. He won a World Series with the Reds.
Beating
Won.
the A's, ironically enough. Beating
Yeah.
Mark McGuire.
There you go, Paul O'Neill. So we're gonna
Good
put
hitter there.
him on the bench. And this is a good one. Anybody? Does anybody know? This is the Indians. I'm sorry, the Guardians.
Yeah.
I think it's Pete O'Brien. I'm gonna go with that.
Sure.
Okay,
Sounds good to
sure.
me.
All right.
That's part of the fun when we actually turn the cards over. We'll reveal the names here.
Yes. Okay. So Angelo picked career batting average, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna look on the back of this one. So this is very interesting. This has no batting average on it. So I'm gonna go to my next card here. Royce Clayton made his professional debut in Everett in 1988.
Wow.
He has nothing on here. So I'm actually going to go to the next card. So
That's interesting.
right here. Yeah. So I'm going to go to the next card. This is Glen Davis. Okay. Glen Davis of the Astros. His career batting average. Let's see. Career totals 262. If you see at the bottom right there, 262 right there. All right, so we're going to put this one down, 262. I actually know who this is. This is Dave Martinez. He's playing for the Expos. Is Dave Martinez higher or lower than 262 Glen Davis? This is a tough one. You can go to your bench. You can go to your bench if you want to switch out the Glen Davis for another card.
So it's 262 is what we're
262 is what the higher or lower.
I'm gonna say Dave Martinez is lower.
All right.
I want to save my bench for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is tough. This is a tough
This
one.
is tough. This is very tough.
I'm gonna say 250 something.
Okay.
This is gonna be my guess.
So lower than 262, you're in. Ooh, 259.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
259. Wow.
Michael,
All right.
Michael, I will swear to this. I heard you switch for. I heard Glen Davis, and all of a sudden, I'm like, what's his batting average? It's probably around 262. And I was
Wow.
and I'm like, I wish I was in the room.
You
When that happened.
nailed it, and I'm too focused on the game.
I know. No, I was out of the room for a second. So
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So
you didn't know
So
I was
he-
gone. That's good.
So he has 2 spots here. 1, 2.
Yep.
So whoever gets the furthest,
Wins.
basically wins.
Yep.
The whole deal is to run the gauntlet to get to
Yep.
the top card. So Angelo. So 259. We got Chili Davis.
Oh wait, yeah, don't so. Hey, that's Chili Davis.
Yeah. Chili Davis. Is he higher or lower career batting average, according to this card, than 259? This is a tough one.
we got some good ones here.
You can't go to your bench.
Yeah, let's see. What's the next card after that? That's Tim Flannery, right?
Tim Flannery.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go higher than 259.
Chili Davis.
I
A really
agree
good
on this
hitter.
one.
I believe
say I
he
agree
was
on
on the team in the late 80s that I was a bat boy for the Phoenix Giants. Chili Davis was there at that time, I believe. I at least saw him in Phoenix when I was going to Phoenix Giants games. So higher than 259, Angelo.
I want to say he's like 270.
267.
267.
Nice. Good job.
Nicely done.
Very
Very close.
Nice.
267. Tim Flannery. This is so tough.
Actually, hold on. Daniel and Allan, are you guys aware of these players so far?
So yeah, some
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Some
right,
of
I'm
them.
just checking.
Yes.
Because there's a couple here we're going to be like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
So that's the fun of this, you know?
Tim Flannery, higher or lower than 267? You can go to your bench. Got McGuire, Paul O'Neill, Pete O'Brien.
I'm gonna go lower than 267.
Lower than 267.
It's going to be close.
257.
All right, good job, Angelo.
All
I
right.
think it's the best Angelo's ever done on this so
It
far.
is. It is.
Wow.
And so this moves up to the second slot. So you made it to the
This is
second
first
tier.
time I think he made it to the second row.
That's right.
All right, good job.
So 257.
Who's next here?
Let me see. This oh boy.
It's the mystery man.
I would have not got this. This is Scott Fletcher. Scott Fletcher, a Ranger.
Oh, I remember Scott Fletcher. Yeah.
Do you? Who else? I don't
Yeah, he
know.
played for. He had a pretty good long stint in the MLB.
He did. He's played with like 100 teams
All right.
by this point. 100,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
literally.
I remember a card from him back in the day with like the Orioles.
257.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yes, he started with the
more on the
Royals.
Rangers, but yeah, I
He
forgot
started
was.
with the Royals.
All right.
So 257 is what you're trying to beat or go under.
Okay. I'm gonna go to my bench.
Okay.
Put in Big Mac.
Oh, Big Mac replacing Tim
This is still
Flannery.
questionable, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
He says the young Big Mac.
It's
for
still
sure.
it wasn't like he was an average guy. Let's see what
Yep.
his average was.
early in his
He
career,
was like 3 years into his career.
271.
Oh, okay.
271. So went from 257 to 271.
You still have to go. Oh, lower.
Gosh. I'm gonna go lower.
Going lower than 271. Oh my God! It actually tied.
We have a push. Oh,
We have a
wondering if we have
push.
Tie goes to the runner, right?
Tie goes to the runner in baseball. Nicely done.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it is, by the way.
Tie goes
Good
to
job,
the
Angelo,
runner.
Going that because you said that. We'll let that slide. Good job.
That is
Bravo.
awesome.
You made the rules.
A first for baseball card sharks. 271.
And mind you, someone did ask what happens if it's a tie.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the whole thing. And we have some
All right, here we go.
tiebreakers. We have some tiebreakers.
Yes.
Allan Trammell, higher or lower than 271. Future Hall of Famer, was a champion for the 84 Tigers.
Yeah. that doesn't make me. That's not happy part of my childhood.
Exactly.
Come on, Angelo. You got this.
271.
Yes.
Allan Trammell.
A lot of high drama here on the Beer Baseball
God.
Hoppy Hour.
I'm gonna go.
And that basically like I know where I would go, but yeah, you know.
I'm gonna go higher.
Oh,
Higher than 271. Wow. That's
I'll be
awesome.
surprised if it's under 300. I
And
can
the
say that
answer
now.
is 290. Nicely done.
290. Nice.
290.
There we
well
go. This is the
done.
battle I've been waiting for.
He was already like 11, 12 seasons in at that point.
But
Now,
this is the interesting one. I've been waiting to
this
see
is-
on this one. I'm like, ooh, Allen Town versus Eric Davis.
Eric Davis,
Eric
cancer
Davis
survivor,
here.
eventually became a St. Louis Cardinal. Actually did really well with the Cardinals, actually. But Eric
This is
Davis, a
tough.
great player. You
This-
have
this
Paul
was tough.
O'Neill, another Red, and Pete O'Brien on your bench.
I'm gonna go to my bench to Pete O'Brien.
Good. That's a
Pete
good call.
O'Brien,
what
that's
I
a
would
good, great call.
do.
It doesn't really help you that
No.
much. 273.
Wow.
Wow,
I never
That's
heard this
surprising.
guy, but okay.
A much
All right,
better hitter than I imagined.
I underestimated you, Pete O'Brien. All right.
Yeah.
Look
Oh,
how many
God.
look how many teams he's been with. The Orioles, Red Sox, Angels, White Sox, Indians, Tigers, Royals, Brewers, Twins,
about that
Yankees,
guy.
Athletics, Mariners, and Blue Jays.
I forgot about the guy. He was a solid player. I just didn't think, wow, his career value average 270. That's
No.
So 273.
Gosh, this
Eric
is
Davis, higher
Gosh.
or lower? Ooh.
I'm okay.
really close.
I'm gonna say it's somewhere in the 280s. So I'm gonna
Okay.
go higher. I'm gonna go higher.
I think you
Higher
might be
than
right,
273.
but,
Let's check it
yeah. Pretty
out.
close.
Are you kidding me?
273.
273.
You've got it. What?
How is that possible?
That is insane. That is insane. That goes to the top. Holy cow.
Wow.
How did that happen?
How
Did that happen?
Good job.
So he gets all the way to the top,
This is where we need Cowboy
273.
Jack Drago to say it's rigged. Rigged, brother.
273. We have Roberto Kelly. Higher or lower than 273? And you
That's
can't.
the
You have
Roberto.
Paul O'Neill on the bench.
Yeah.
Another
But
great hitter.
Still, I'm like, I don't know how much the difference
It's
will be
nuts.
there. Yeah. Daniel, Allan, how you guys feeling right now? Watching this, you feeling all right? You feel you're
We're
gonna be able to run
quietly
this?
strategizing.
We're playing
Good.
we would
That's all I
handle
know,
it if we were in the hot seat.
And then we
so.
warned you, like, hey, you guys can
Yeah,
partake. You guys will enjoy this.
Yes.
Man. I'm gonna go with higher.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say somewhere in the 280s.
Okay.
It's a young Roberto Kelly.
So
let's
we're
see.
going higher than 273. The answer is
It's gotta be 273.
333. You have run the
Wow.
gauntlet.
Killed
You
it.
have run the gauntlet.
For the
Nicely
first
done.
time. Good job, Angelo.
Golf claps.
Yeah, a little bit of
Angelo.
help there. Yeah, golf claps.
I feel like with 2 ties though, like I didn't really earn that one, but I'll take it.
but you have to log off in 20 minutes, so
Yeah.
you have to be here to win. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. Speaking of which, Angelo, what'd you have to share with us today? Do you gotta get your stuff?
Oh
in.
yeah, please,
Yeah.
definitely
so
share what you got.
So I went
Get
to
your,
Franken-
you
yeah,
know
I
what,
went
in brother.
to- Yeah, I went to Frankenstein's collectible show today, which is
Nice.
Former Revolution Pro venue, no?
yes,
100%.
Well,
So, yep,
it's a new location now,
location,
Yeah.
but Kevin
but
and
still, you
yeah,
know.
Kevin and Michael are very familiar with it. But first time in a couple months that I've been there, so I was looking to grab some stuff for my PC. So spent a couple hours perusing as many dollar bins as I can. So I decided a couple days ago that I was going to start a Ken Griffey Jr. PC. So this is Ken Griffey Jr. is my favorite baseball player. So decided to get that started a little bit. So I picked up, this is a 2020 foil Allen and Ginter.
Nice.
It says $3 on there, but it was $1. I got this is a 1990 Bowman
Nice.
for $1. Donruss 91 for $1. Score 91 for $1. This is a Topps 1991. And then I got, this is a Topps Chrome. This is a throwback to 1991. So I paid
Oh
$5.
yeah.
Yeah, I paid $5 for that one.
Right on.
And then other dollar bin finds, I got a David Fletcher Topps Chrome rookie,
Right on.
who might get the batting title.
Definitely a favorite of mine.
Yep. And I got a 2020 Mosaic Jerry Rice, and friend of the show dropping bombs on him. This is a 1986 Reggie Jackson, and it's in actually
Nice.
really good condition.
Yeah. Love
and
Reggie.
Then I picked up a so this one was $8. It's a Bowman Chrome first of David Fletcher.
Cool. Very good.
And then to add to my PC, my basketball PC, I have Sacramento Kings rookie Buddy Hield, which is actually hard to find in a Kings uniform because he was drafted by the Pelicans and traded mid-season. So this is the only rookie card I have of him in a Kings uniform. I got that for $2. And
Was that in the DeMarco Cousins trade?
That was in the DeMarcus Cousins trade. Yep.
Right.
And then my big purchase of the day was celebrating his $95 million contract extension. I got a Fred Warner autographed Panini certified to 50. So that was $20.
Right on.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Frankenstein's was definitely a venue for Revolution Pro, but also the very first ever Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show.
Yes.
But in it's only about 2 years ago they moved to a bigger place. Is that right, Angelo?
Yeah, I think it's like it used to be like a Sam's Club or something like that.
Right.
It's pretty big. So the old location was in like a warehouse in like an industrial area with no.
Was it in the City of Industry? Or where?
It's still-
where
it-
The original one, yes.
yeah.
It's still in the City of Industry. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's,
Okay, good.
yeah, but now it's air conditioned. So
Oh, that's nice.
You know what? It might be an old Walmart because there was a Walmart not too far from there.
yeah, I think it was a
That might
Sam's
be it.
Club. I think it was a Sam's Club. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's on Gale.
Yale, yeah.
Then that's the Sam's Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember having to flyer cars in the parking lot of that of that Sam's Club for a Rev Pro show. The good old days. Good job, Angelo. Run the
Yeah,
gauntlet.
well,
Michael, you're on mute.
Of course, yeah, I'm talking on mute. So the old venue, Bart Copy, I think is his last name. He ran the alternate wrestling shop, right?
Alternative
AWS.
Wrestling Shop. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So then he was in the Franken Sons, and then we used to run shows in there, and he was all involved in it. Then he moved literally across the street. There's a place across the street that he moved it to. I'm not sure where he's at now, but
He has a booth there.
Yeah, he has a booth there, and he actually worked for Frankenstein's now. So
Yep.
I saw him
Gotcha.
today.
I'm
Okay,
sure
there
that's how he got the place because literally across from Frankenstein's, Daniel Allen, it was like I don't even know how to describe it, like a small space where you can fit like 3 rooms and a parking lot. So I think he was living in there and selling stuff in there, and he had rings set up in the back parking lot of it and did shows back there. Like one of my last matches was he did a 3-ring battle royal.
We've talked about this. I remember asking you about this battle royal.
yeah, that was the outdoor venue.
160 guys was the goal, and like literally one of the rings collapsed as the match was about to start.
It's on YouTube in really poor quality. I have looked it up.
Sure.
I have looked it up.
Yeah, I would have been in that, but we were on the East Coast. Me and Mr. Excitement and who else was?
Got lost, right?
Scott wasn't. Yeah, Scott wasn't with us.
Right?
Yeah,
And Top Gun Tower was out there.
So
I did it, and one thing I did for myself to humor myself, and I actually got heat backstage from one of the promoters, was I came out as Taro, but I had my Ultra Taro Junior gear, and so I put my Ultra Taro gear on Zocre of Los Luchas, and I got a photo unmasked of myself saying next to Ultra Taro, saying, "See, I'm not Ultra Taro." And he actually wore my Ultra Taro gear in the Battle Royal and wrestled as Ultra Taro. And because they're trying to get a legit entry in the Guinness Book of World Records, they're like, this is not okay. You can't do this. I'm like, he's Ultra Taro. There's been many Ultra Taro. I'm Taro. Completely different person.
Yes.
Wrestling.
In fairness, when I was in Japan for this was 2005. For Osaka Pro, and we did what was called, it wasn't the Royal Rumble, it was the Royal Rumbu. It was in Shizuoka, and the great part about it is, are you familiar with the wrestler Gama?
Yes.
Yeah. So the great thing about Osaka Pro was that they all wrestled with different gimmicks. If there was a sponsor, then they would do that. They also wrestled as like the Power Rangers too. Murahama, this like amazing
Murahama is so criminally underrated. It's not even funny. One of my favorite matches ever is Takahiro Murahama. He challenged for the IWGP Junior title against Minoru Tanaka in Korakuen Hall in April 2001.
That match is amazing. Oh, I love that. I have not seen. I got to find that on YouTube after the show.
So the best is to watch.
I'll send it to you. It is on there. It's on there.
So the greatest is to watch this great mixed martial art fighter dress up as a Power Ranger, basically. Him and Ebasan and who is the other guy?
Kushibo?
Kushibo.
No. No? He was he wrestled at FMW Hayato Nanjo.
Mahayato.
Yeah, and he wrestled as Miracle Man in Osaka Pro.
Well, he was Battle Ranger. Wasn't he Battle Ranger?
Beetle, something the Beetle. He was. They were all like they were turtles and beetles and all that crazy stuff.
Of course,
the best. But Murahama was like I always said like he was like just like a little kid. Like he just loved.
Oh, he was
You
like
love doing it?
4'11" too, right? He was just a short little guy.
He's
so.
a little dude, and he literally looked like a little kid. And we're just like, this little kid could like beat the crap out of us. I used to say that to Ed all the time.
and a nice little callback to earlier in this episode, we were talking about Lee Moriarty wearing the Hanshin Tigers inspired gear. Osaka Pro had Tiger's mask, not to be confused with Tiger Mask, whose entire apparel was based on the Hanshin Tigers.
Yeah,
so.
I wrestled Tiger's Mask when I was there quite a bit in 2004 and 2005. And then there was Black Tigers, who was Jeremy Lopez, who eventually wrestled in PWG.
Yeah.
So,
we have
so
wait. Yeah. So Black Tigers was on the Gorilla Show, but not okay. Yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember that whole weekend in 2004. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so like Eba-san would dress up as all these different characters. So it's like, I'm not sure where I was going with all that, but I love wrestling where it just kind of comes it's mishmash of like, this guy is under. Oh, you were talking about Zokre being under everything, but
I'm sorry. I was talking about my gimmick to Zokre. Sorry,
I was talking about Shizuoka. I was talking about Shizuoka. Like they had this Royal Rumble, so Eba-san came out as. All his different characters as, those were entrants in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then he eventually came out as Eba-san, and then he won. So, like, he was in like 5 times as different characters.
Because he had different gear. He had like a Cactus Jack. Yeah. He had Stan Hansen.
Exactly.
He had a couple different ones too.
So it was all that. Yeah. And then Gamma.
He had Don Fry too.
The funny thing was
the other ones, and they did the Fry Takayama fight.
Amazing.
So Gamma comes up to me and he goes, because he did this thing. It was like this character called Beautiful Joe, which was like a Sony
video game.
Yes, he was that character. So he goes, he runs up to me because I'm just like I'm kind of milling around in the back. I was like taking video of stuff. I was trying to get as much video as I could. He runs up to me and he has like this he did the Beautiful Joe, which was like this kind of Avenger character. But then he came up and he was like in this kind of like diaper thing, and it was like kind of weird. And then he comes up to me, he goes, "Oh, disco. I need a gay dance, and teach me a gay dance." And I go, and I thought back, and I'm like, okay. And I go, there was a Simpsons episode where they they were like in a steel mill, and they were doing all these kind of crazy things. And so I told him, I go, you have to bend down and do this thing. And he goes, oh, thank you very much. He runs out. He does exactly that.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
That's so good.
He's so amazing.
I'm so sad because I went to Osaka Pro in 2012, and one of my tasks was to try to find the tape of that show. I remember you begged me to try and find that show.
Yeah, because the Rock Nest Monsters went out there and they took a picture.
Yeah.
They took a picture of this video cassettes, and it's the Royal Rumble 2005. I'm like, I need that tape. And then he just took a picture of it but didn't buy it. And I
didn't see it when I went.
That's when I wrestled Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah. Minoru Suzuki put you to sleep.
He did. He came in, he put me to sleep, and threw me over.
Amazing.
So, okay, this isn't about me. This is about baseball card sharks.
Hey, whatever. You know what? Angelo already ran the gauntlet. Who's next?
He did. He ran the gauntlet. But I think he's going to log off, and we'll put you in there.
Sorry,
Angelo
won. He wins.
So, I mean, I think that's a natural segue for me to log off.
All right.
We'll start with the next one. But Daniel, Allan, it was great meeting and talking with you guys. Looking forward to having an opportunity to do that again. Michael, Kevin, I will see you on Tuesday and tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow in Lake Elsinore. Yes, sir.
All right. Take care, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
All right. So who wants to go next? I'm gonna throw it out to the board. Who wants to?
Come on, let one of our guests go. Come on, who wants to take it on?
The team, or do you want us to go as a team? Maybe
you can go as a team. That's fine.
Let's do that.
You want to
do a
team? Oh, come on.
Okay.
No, this will be a 4-hour show if we separate this one.
Agreed. Okay, so do you want to do pitchers or infielders, outfielders, or catchers?
We'll go with field positions. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. So we have a whole big stack here.
All right.
So your first card is From the Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike Spanky Lavalier.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Former Cardinal.
John Slot at first. Like, oh, Mike Lavalier.
No,
All right, right
Mike
on.
Lavalier.
Well, what stat did they pick? Did they pick a stat?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So,
We probably
Yeah,
need
so-
to take a stat before we.
yeah,
well,
go
you
for
see,
it. So
like
we'll put
Mike
that down there.
Lavalier.
But so are you going? So something that you can go with.
Hits, home runs, RBIs.
You can go
and
games, at bats, runs, hits, strikeouts, average,
Let's do career home runs.
career home runs. Nice choice.
Cool. Right on.
Your second card is. See if you can see who this is. This is a little tough one.
We're working with a very small screen too. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what the team is.
Let me see. If
Is that the Dodgers?
I'm just going to tell you, it's John Shelby. I think
Oh,
he's
it
a
is John.
former
Okay,
Oriole.
John Shelby.
John Shelby.
Previously
Here
before
with
this, an Oriole, and now a Dodger.
Yeah, here with the Dodgers.
Okay.
This one. This is your card, but it doesn't have anything on the back. This is Dwight Smith, so I'm going to throw this one out.
Okay, that's good. You're able to.
Yeah.
Know that.
This is from the Angels, Brian Downing.
Heck yeah, Brian Downing.
There you
Sorry,
go.
sorry. Okay,
This is a
okay.
good one. I actually saw this. What's
Michael,
that?
I gotta jump in to tell Daniel and Alan this.
Oh yes, please.
So, Brian Downing was a favorite enough of Super Dragon's mother that her next son was named Brian J. Lyon after Brian Downing.
Wow.
So there you go. Super Dragon's brother is named after Brian Downing.
There you go.
Except it's spelled with a Y, not an I. Just saying. I thought you guys would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This is a special one for me, especially with our Canada theme.
Oh.
So in 1986, I was a bat boy for the Phoenix Giants against the Calgary Cannons.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Who was on the Calgary Cannons? None other than Danny Tartable, who I do have a cracked bat of in
Oh
my
my
shed. I have a cracked bat of him.
Michael, I can't see this. When I met him at the card show in 87 or 88, I can't tell the autograph, but does he sign it Danny Bowl like Tarda? He signs it like weird. I can't really. Oh, it's a straight signature there.
Straight
But I remember when I
signature.
got his autograph, it looked weird. Like he would
Yeah.
write Danny Bowl, the Bowl Tarda. Like he would write it like Bowl first. It was so weird. I was like,
Yeah, he's been on a ton of teams.
In the 80s, you know?
If I show that when I show this, he's been on a ton of teams. I couldn't believe how many teams he's been on since in
I
'89.
remember mainly as being on the Royals. You know,
Oh, really?
I mean, that's what he came up with, right?
It makes sense.
But hold on, wasn't the Calgary Cannons a Mariners affiliate?
I'm not sure at that time. Not sure.
I mean, we'll have to hashtag do the
Yeah,
research.
we'll definitely. Okay, so going with the Canada theme, this is a Hall of Famer that made his name in Montreal. Gary Carter.
Oh, that's a great card.
That is a good card.
That's
Yep.
a
And
really
look
good
at
card.
Keith Hernandez in the background there. Right? Oh no. Is it Keith Hernandez?
It looks like Keith Hernandez.
It is. Oh, come on.
But wait,
That's-
isn't that Ryan Sandberg? So this is a composite.
23. I think you're right.
This is a composite.
You're
So
right.
this is shenanigans.
There's a couple Hall of Famers there, and Keith Hernandez.
Yes. I don't know. They had some shenanigans. This is when Photoshop was first coming into prominence. I know this because I started. Now this guy pulled down his pants in Tiger
no.
Stadium.
Yeah.
This is Steve Lyons.
Yeah, no relation to me, by the way.
No, zero relation. Steve Lyons. There you go. This is a former Arizona State Sun Devil and a former Texas Rangers. His number was actually not a number. It was actually a letter. It was O. This is Odeby McDowell
Oh, is an Indian?
as an Indian.
Interesting.
Odeby McDowell.
You know, he represented the United States of America in the 84 Olympics, I believe.
Is there enough nerdness of baseball on this show? Come on.
I'm sorry, you know, those 85 top cards had the Olympians in there, you know?
And the card to beat on the third level.
Oh, no.
Are you ready?
Oh no.
You guys may recognize this guy. Bo knows. Bo Jackson.
All
You
right.
got to get past the Auburn running back here. Bo Jackson.
Don't be Brian Bosworth. Beat him down. All right.
Get us a good bench.
On your bench is the unknown Luis Aguayo. I have no idea.
If Michael doesn't know, good luck, guys.
This guy is another. This is Mark
Matter?
Lewis. He has no statistics on here,
Well,
so
then
he
you
goes
got it.
out.
Then you're out of here.
Ooh, on your bench, Hall of Famer.
Oh.
This might be a game changer.
Oh,
Tony Gwynn.
Not
Oh.
a home run.
but for home runs, I don't know. I don't know. For
Home runs, and as we found out last week, if you watched the Beer Baseball blogcast, all-time leader in stolen bases for the San Diego Padres,
As
which
I
a lot of
guessed
people
correctly-
wouldn't figure.
Perceptively fast for his size. Yeah.
Yes.
As I guessed correctly, Michael Mondragon, make sure you put me over. Thank you.
Yes, he did get that. And your last player, oh my gosh, wow! I wish this has statistics. It doesn't. But
Oh, no.
this is Nolan
I guess who
Ryan's
it is.
this is Nolan Ryan's favorite player. This is Robin Ventura. But he has no statistics on the back of this, so we do
Oh,
not go to
wow.
him.
He's straight out of OSU, right? Was it OSU or LSU? OSU, right? I think he went to Oklahoma State, if I remember right.
Yeah, number 1, June 1988. He was a number 1 pick.
Yep.
Really?
And yeah. And an Olympian on the 88 team.
And this is awesome. Now, this player became a manager for the Pittsburgh Pirates and has a very infamous video where he goes and he takes first base out and
already,
walks
sorry.
away with it. Kevin, who is it?
That's Lloyd Mcclendon, sir.
Oh,
100%. Who is he with?
What?
He's with the Cubs here.
I have a
Wow.
funny
Okay.
Lloyd Mcclendon story when he was a manager
for
the
it.
Mariners.
Oh, please.
So
go.
there was one game where he was jawing at the umpires the entire time, and there was a check swing call, and obviously he didn't like it, so he marched out to first, argued with that umpire, then got fed up with him, marched out to second, argued with that umpire, and then now the crowd is going nuts. So that he goes to third and argues with that umpire, and then came back home and said something to the guy, and then got kicked out.
Finally.
It was great. It was like every base he hit, the place just started to go even more nuts.
Golf-
Yes.
golf claps.
I vaguely remember this.
We're sitting right in right center field, right on the fence. I know, don't.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was probably the most entertaining ejection I've seen.
That is awesome.
That's tremendous.
And when anybody talks about robo umps, you're not going to get that experience. That is why I'm against robo umps.
Just get rid of the bad ones, and then the
Yeah,
real bad ones.
Angel
That's
Hernandez.
simple. There's
Uh,
unions, sir. There's
yes.
unions.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Look at the Astros, all right, and
Yes.
player unions. Sorry, that's a whole nother show.
Well,
but I'm not
I was gonna say to Daniel also, being a football fan,
Yes.
offsides, referees. I played soccer from I actually up into the day that I moved to Los Angeles. I played semi-pro soccer, so I'm very familiar with it. One of the parts of the game that I love was the human element of the game. Baseball has that too.
Yes.
If you go to strictly electronic, you lose that human element, where it's that passionate, like, the scapegoat, the person that you can blame.
Yeah.
I just want better humans in there.
I'm on the fence about VAR in use in soccer. It has its pluses and its minuses, obviously, right? But exclusively computers, like, no, you need that first kind of gut call by someone in the heat of the moment, kind of on the field for sure. So
tennis has definitely done it, and but it seems more impersonal. You know, when the John McEnroe days, you know, it's like that.
Oh my god!
You know, I love those, and so again, a discussion for another day. So
Michael,
yeah,
Michael, I do have to ask though, because Dana's obviously a Chelsea fan. Who's your team? Do you have a team? Come on, I just looking at social media.
Are you talking about me or are you talking Michael?
No, I'm asking Michael, who's his team? Because obviously he has a team. You're obviously Chelsea. So, Michael, what's your team?
Great question. Great question.
Because I know you're a lifelong football player.
So this is yeah. That's a great question. So this is where we have to dilute it down. Are we talking Italian league? Are we talking Premier League?
Oh, come on.
No.
I'm just saying.
Daniel, does it not make a difference? It's different leagues.
Right. Okay.
You know what? I have a couple teams that I like. Obviously, in MLS, I'm a Vancouver Whitecaps supporter and season ticket holder. And shout outs to them. They're sending me a free jersey.
You got it?
Nice.
I'm getting a free jersey. I don't know if those if you're not following me on social media, I busted my head open in a match last weekend and bled all over my jersey, and just shot in the dark. Sent out a tweet saying, "Hey, I kind of messed up my new jersey." It was actually a birthday present from my girlfriend. So, and the Whitecaps, like, they were like, "Really? Yeah, you really did mess that up." Like, and they DM me and they're sending me a new one, and
no kidding.
They're still like, because I said I'm going to frame the bloody one. They're like, "Hey, send us pictures when you frame it. Like, we want to see it." So. It's cool, yeah. And
that's tremendous to hear.
They're coming back
to
play their first game back in Vancouver next week. I've got tickets. So first game in 18 months. First game in 18 months they've played in Vancouver.
Are they just playing Canadian teams? Is that what's going on right now?
No, they've been playing. Last year they played their home games in Portland. This year they've been playing their home games in Salt Lake City. So
that's why I'm bringing this up. Today I'm wearing Canadians hat.
Who are playing their games in Hillsborough. Yeah,
because
that's right.
The Canadians have been playing in Hillsborough this whole time.
Yeah.
And I've been like, what's going on? And I talked to Michael about this. How is there not any cross merchandise here?
Yeah,
I would love to get a cross merchandise with the Hops and the Canadians. Like, that'd be
because
cool.
They play each other so frequently, they've been doing little bets on the series.
Yeah.
So, like, if you follow their social medias, it's like if the Canadians win, the Hops have to change their logo to whatever. So if you go back and look at some of the things they've done, and I can send you guys one. They did an awesome hop with the Canadians hat and stuff like that. And I was like,
are they actually selling stuff like that? I'd love to look into something like that.
So, like, it's probably something we could probably do custom on the side if we really wanted to. Yeah, and I totally would, because it's really cool looking.
Yeah, because honestly, I'd love to go to Nat Turner Field. I would love to go to Nat Turner Field. You know what I mean? Just to see it, check it out. A lot of history there.
Nat Bailey.
Oh, sorry, Nat Bailey. Sorry, I got
Nat Bailey. Yeah.
I blew my spot.
Which is named after, Nat Bailey was the original. He was the guy who ran a hamburger chain here called White Spot, and it's still very much in. I mean, he's long since dead, but White Spot's like a massive chain in British Columbia, and I don't know what you even compare it to. Like, do you guys have Red Robins in Southern California?
Yes.
Yeah.
Similar to Red Robin, I guess, ish. He started White Spot not too far from where the ballpark is, and so the park's named after him.
And I kind of laugh at myself because I messed up the name of the ballpark, because when I went to Hillsborough, I was trying to look at Ron Tonkin Field. Yes. I posted when I went there and I mentioned the wrong name. I think I said Marv. I'm like, oh God, it's Ron Tonkin Field, because there was a Tonkin car company that would be a sponsor of the Portland wrestling shows back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah, there'll be commercials for the 1980s. You look on YouTube, you can see like 1980, 1981 Portland wrestling shows, and Tonkins are actually sponsors for their program. Like,
And it's a
cars.
car dealership.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Right.
you see like, here it is. It's like Ron Tonkin Field is the name of the field for the hops. Like, oh, how funny.
So we've circled around, but Michael still hasn't answered which football.
And I said this show is a complete rabbit hole. So
Yeah.
there's a guy named Hippity Hop Guy, and he's actually I think he's a Vancouver Canadians fan, and that's how I found out that they're playing at Ron Tonkin Field.
Yeah.
Now my work, I actually it was out of Portland, and so like I would go to Hillsborough quite a bit. So I found out about this guy. So okay, so
because there's
technically,
there's
like
teams
in
that
pick a
support
Premier
in
League team.
various leagues, but like my ride or dies are Vancouver and Chelsea. So
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, so Vancouver MLS. See, this is I have to like dilute it down. Okay, so let me do this. So MLS,
Yeah.
I would say I would love to go with the Galaxy.
yes,
Because I went to the early days at the Rose Bowl with Jorge Campos, and when they first started,
and they're original franchise for the league all the way back.
Exactly,
to
and they're super successful.
1996, right? So
Exactly, very easy. The team that I really super identify with is LAFC.
yeah,
And they have done everything right in my estimation. That I love them, and I'm a Portland Timbers fan, and I actually went up to the Seattle's team. Is it the Sounders?
Founders.
Counters,
We,
yeah.
we went to a Sounders game.
Oh, right on.
And so like I'm all over the place. There's a New York, the New York team. They play at Yankee Stadium. So I'm just like, there's
New
so
York
much.
City FC, yeah.
Right. If I had to pick one, I would go. Oh, this is tough.
Like a war, pick a side. And we go see if we can go bear on you. Just say the Galaxy. It's our local team. Come on.
No, but
Or
the
go
Galaxy.
LAFC,
No, the
either way.
Galaxy are in Carson. That's not LA.
You know what? That's like me saying, like, go Angels. They're an LA team because they're not.
That's true. That's true.
We'll get me started on
Fucking hell.
that.
All right,
We'll be all night. And we're gonna
I'll
be all
go
night
with
anyway.
Galaxy because I mean they were the first team when I was here,
Yeah.
and I was here. The thing where I lost them was Beckham, so that's a whole different show.
Well, and that completely changed the league too.
Agreed.
honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Galaxy because I went to both Carson and the Rose Bowl, so I have to go with them. There's also a team in Phoenix, and it's
Phoenix
actually,
Rising.
Sorry,
Phoenix Rising, are they not called? Or
the Phoenix Rising, and they had Drogba.
And Drogba is a part owner, and for those who are more baseball fans, Didier Drogba, one of the great all-time Chelsea players of all time.
That's
So,
it. Oh, there you go. So
So, all right, Michael. Premier League. Who's your Premier
Okay.
League team? Come on.
can I talk about
Have one.
MISL
You
teams?
Clearly have one. Come on.
Okay.
Have you been
so-
dipping into the 9% one, Kevin, or you're getting a little less?
The 9% right here.
okay, so Premier League.
I'm just pestering him. It's easy at this point.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's so hard on Premier League because
Hey, watch the language, sir.
sorry.
He had 9% or two.
I'm passionate about this.
I know you are. That's why I'm just poking you.
So I remember going and seeing Manchester United. It was actually at the LA Coliseum. They played
Yep.
America, and Van Nistelrooy was their big player at the time.
Yeah.
And shoot, and then we went to go see Beckham. Well, sorry.
That's mid 2000s then.
Yeah, it was very early in 2000s.
Yep.
We went to go see Beckham play for Real Madrid.
Yep.
Right? Was he playing for Real?
I believe that.
And we
That
couldn't
sounds
even
about right.
couldn't even get to there because Carson is it's like going to a minor league
my
ballpark at
It's
that time.
terrible. It's
Yeah, it was terrible.
Terrible going there.
We couldn't even get there. Okay, I'm just gonna make this super easy. I'll go with Man U.
That's all right.
Only
Alan
because-
left. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Al's fed up with your stalling, so he's
I'm gonna be fed up too. Pick a team. We're at war.
yeah.
Man United. That's a classic
U.
team, and obviously,
Okay.
yeah.
And then Juventus is my my Italian league.
Yes, I like how you said Juventus like they were a luchador. You could
Juventus.
I believe Vinny Massaro is also a Juventus supporter because he's
right on.
got Juventus inspired gear that he wears. So
yes, right. I wrestled him in the very last XPW show. It won't be the last XPW show because they're doing it again.
they're coming back. But anyways,
so we lost half our crew.
I
with
was
this.
gonna say I've lost my better half when it comes to this game as well. So.
Okay, sorry about that. That it said soccer takes you in a totally different route.
Yes, absolutely. It was a good spot for a bathroom break for anyone watching who's exclusively a baseball fan.
I can't believe anybody's still watching at this point.
And half of the people on this podcast.
All right, so let's go back to baseball card sharks. I may edit out that whole soccer talk.
You know what? I'm having a blast.
Yes,
having a great time.
it is pretty awesome. This is what the Hoppy Hour is all about.
Soccer is okay.
Yes. I said I can hang with the soccer talk.
What did he just hand you, Daniel? What is that?
This is my other non-alcoholic beer, another Sober Carpenter. It is their Blonde Ale.
Okay.
Sometimes you just want to kick back, relax, and enjoy an easy drinking beer with a little edge. With accents of malt and a light hop finish, our golden ale is crisp and refreshing. So we're going to see. You know what? I didn't hate this. I would drink this on like a hot day if everyone else is having a beer. What the hell? Anyways, let's.
And Alan, what do you have now? I saw a new can in your hand, Alan. What is that?
I finished.
He's iced this one. Well, yeah.
So I finished this one. It's a Beer Garita, which is a lime sour.
Okay. Oh.
From another local brewery called.
Not even a Beer Garita in Vancouver. Look at that.
That's awesome.
And then I'm on to one called Mosa, which is an orange pale ale.
Sweet.
Oh, nice. What brewery is that by?
Equilibrium. Where's that?
Okay.
I don't know.
It's not breweries I'm familiar with because I still have your tokes of
New York. It's New York.
Okay. Because I saved that Tukes of Hazzard can because I love that can so much.
So good.
Oh
the Tukes of Hazzard can is just
they're very good.
It's stayed on my fridge forever. I love that.
Oh, Parallel 40. Yeah.
Parallel 40 is very good with their art.
We might have to kayfabe another beer trade.
Well,
I might just have to pack them along if I come to LA, right?
Ooh.
I saved a can of each beer that I'm having today. I'll just say that. And I got some Kit Kats.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Daniel, did he share any Kit Kats from the last mysterious package that showed up? Or am I going to just bury you?
I wasn't living with him at the time. I still have a bag set aside for you, actually.
You didn't get
Kit Kat chunky.
Sorry, Daniel. Sorry.
All right.
Next time.
So it's taken us like 50 minutes, but here we are on the second round.
Now we're going to try and take down Angelo. We're going to go one and done. Watch us blow the first one.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You guys are
All
obviously
right.
in a hurry like we are.
So we're going to start out with Mike Spanky Lavalier for the Pirates.
How do you know
Spanky.
Spanky?
No
Spanky. Now, you might recognize him if you remember 1992. Sid Bream is rounding third for the Braves. By the way, Sid Bream, a former Pirate.
That's when you said Sid Bream. Oh, yeah.
The slowest player in the league is rounding third. Ball hit to Barry Bonds, and he cannot throw him out. This is the guy who got the ball and did not tag him. This is Mike Spanky Lavalier. And we're going with home runs, correct?
Yes.
Well,
If you can remember back to the 30 to 45 minutes.
Whatever.
So his career totals for home runs are, this is going to be really super easy, 6. So you're starting with 6.
Good call. Boom.
6. Who is he facing here?
He's facing John Shelby. here with
Yeah.
the Dodgers.
Grizzled vet. Grizzled vet.
At this point, yes, a grizzled vet at this point.
Definitely played some time with the Orioles before this.
Yes.
I think we're gonna go high. We're gonna go above on this one.
Collectively,
Wow.
you
I think in the season of this card, he hit 6. You know.
okay, so 6. You're going higher than 6.
Yes.
Home runs 62.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh, close.
Yes. Look at how many teams he's been with there.
Yeah.
The Braves, Cubs, Reds, Astros, Expos, Mets,
Wow, I didn't know he
Phillies,
was on that many teams.
Pirates, Cardinals, Padres, and Giants. Wow. Amazing. So
You know what, though, Michael?
yeah.
You might want to double check that. That might be who he hit home runs versus. Is that every team in the NL, and that's who he hit home runs versus?
Yeah, no, he has games. He has 18 games with let's see.
Because I don't remember being on the Giants. That's all I'm saying is I think what the stats is how many home runs he hits versus every
No,
NL.
I think it's teams he played for. I bet I can't imagine.
I just don't remember playing on that many teams. That's all. I don't know.
That's
That's a grizzled
interesting.
vet right there. Regardless, grizzled. How many was that total? 62?
62.
This is
All
very
right.
interesting. So what let's look at this right here. So like it says 1988.
But look, those
maybe
are
that's it.
all NL teams is my point, and he played on the Orioles.
There's a thing, team breakdown.
Yeah, see? That's what I was telling you.
Oh.
See?
This is
know what I'm
very
talking about.
very misleading.
That's
Yeah.
dumb.
It's weird.
It's dumb.
That is very dumb. Agreed.
You look at that last line, career totals, Michael Mondragon. I hope you've been doing that. I hope you're looking at career
But
totals.
it's
in that
all.
last
I'm
line
going
there.
by the career totals. So the
Good.
career total.
I will make sure of that.
Oh, I thought we were. I thought Angelo was going to get an asterisk.
No,
No,
well, yeah, well, there's
Well, he
a lot
already
of,
should. He had 2 draws in there. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
that's true.
Guy.
Okay, so the career totals. This last one was home run 62. Brian Downing. Is he higher or lower than 62 in 1989?
What position did he play?
He
He was a designated hitter by this point.
designated
played
hitter
center
and
field
outfielder.
He was playing outfield and he DH some too. But this is the end of his career for sure. I was surprised he was playing this late. Honestly.
That helps us.
Hi.
We're gonna go
I said no, not to say anything.
probably.
Yeah, we're going to go higher.
We're going higher.
Higher than 62. The answer is 220.
I'd say I knew it was gonna be over 200.
Nicely done.
Yeah, guys, look at this. Can you show the front of that card again, please? When you get a chance, look up like his 70s cards with the White Sox. It's a completely different person. He looks, it's insane. He looks like he was just hitting a lot of the reefer back in the 70s. I don't know.
He also had a very interesting batting stance where he would like stand like with his right foot, left foot, like almost like facing the left field pole. He was very wide open.
There's a great
understand.
Angels program in like the mid 80s where it's him like opening up his jersey with an S on it, like he's Superman. It's a great Angels photo. I'll have to find it and send it to you guys. That guy was definitely a popular guy in the Angels back in the 80s.
So Danny this is a very interesting one. Danny
right.
Tartable.
Yeah, definitely a
So-
home run hitter. Yeah.
A home run hitter, higher or lower than 220. You have a bench. You have Tony Gwynn on your bench. You have Lloyd McClendon. You have, Puguero, right?
Whoever that guy was.
Luis
the guy we didn't know who he
Aguayo.
is. We don't know who he is. Good luck, guys.
Will you tell us how far into his career he is?
I want to say he's about. It's gonna give it away if I say it. I think.
He was drafted by the Reds, number 3 in June of 1980. I know that he.
Wow! I didn't know that. Okay. That's
I know that he.
That's earlier than I thought. Okay.
He was still playing in the minors in Calgary by 1986, and I know that he
there you go. You
did
just
make
gave
it
it
up.
away.
He did make it up to the majors.
I mean, you just gave it away, Michael, by saying that. I was gonna give that away. I was like, I could say his rookie
I'll go
season
with
was 86, but you already gave away more than I would have given away.
Yeah, he did say that earlier, and if we had been paying attention, we would have remembered that he, saw him as a cannon. But yeah, we're gonna go lower.
Well, Daniel, you're the sober one. You're supposed to keep track of
I should. That was a lifetime ago.
So
Yeah.
lower than 220. We're going Danny Tartable.
I'll say 76.
He had 88.
88. There you go.
88. Nicely done. So you move up here. 88 going against the Montreal player here.
Gary Carter. Wow.
Gary Carter, who this is very interesting because I don't remember. I remember Gary Carter hitting a lot of historic home runs, and now he's with the Mets. So this is after the '86 series.
But it wasn't like
obviously.
he was like a 25 home run.
That's
season.
it. Yeah,
No,
this is very interesting.
But he's got. Yeah, I think it's still gonna be higher. I think it's gonna be higher. Yeah, we're still think higher.
Higher? Oh, higher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I agree with them on this one. I was
Higher
going to try.
than
I'm like, I don't
88.
want to steer him off here, but this is yeah, for sure. I'll say 200.
302
Whoa!
Oh, wow, 300.
That's
Oh,
good.
nice. That's a good number for you guys here.
by 89. Nicely done.
302 versus
302.
Steve
Against
Lyons.
Steve Lyons.
Carlos
Yeah.
Cousin.
You don't need my help on this one.
Yeah, we're gonna go lower.
Steve Lyons
This
lower.
is a young Steve Lyons.
Better.
A very hearty 12 home runs. Nicely done.
Hardy.
12.
Very hardy, you say. All right. This is a young Steve Lyons then for sure.
So this is Odeby McDowell. Is he higher or lower than 12?
This is the first tough one you've had here.
Well, we got
Who's on our bench?
Gwen.
You have Tony Gwynn, Lloyd Mcclendon, and you have Luis Aguayo.
Not imagine that's how much 12.
All right, let's go with
And
that.
then if we don't get confident for the last week, yeah. Okay. We're gonna go high. We're gonna go higher.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
Odoby's had about 4 or 5 years in Major League at this point.
56.
Oh, okay, right on.
Not as many as I thought.
All right.
Is he was more of a speed guy, but
All right.
he'll probably hit 8 to 10 a year. Good job.
So your last card is the Bo Jackson.
Uh-oh.
Real tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
This is a
Because-
soft toss.
No, it's not.
Bo knows.
We're gonna go higher.
Higher than 56.
This is still pretty young in his career.
49.
Oh, no! Oh, no! That's a young Bo.
Oh
You don't know Bo.
With Tony Gwynn on the bench.
Tony Gwynn on the bench.
on.
Let-
Can we
How many does Tony
compare?
Gwynn have at this point? Is he in the threes?
Tony Gwynn probably has about 75. I would
Twos?
say.
Tony Gwynn, 41.
41. Wow. There you
That
go.
wouldn't have been
Rough
that wouldn't have been
anyway.
exact.
Yeah, that would not help you out very much.
No, our
Let's
sub
see-
would have been Tony Gwynn, and we would have lost anyways.
Lloyd
Yeah.
McClendon, 5. Luis Aguayo. Oh, look at this. Luis Aguayo, 36.
What?
We were hooped anyways. I think going into it.
I
we
would have
would've
thought
went
for
Tony
sure.
Gwynn.
I would have
and-
thought for sure Bo.
Yeah.
Bo.
I would have bet all my money on that one too.
I was just like, the only thing I would say to myself is Bo's still kind of young here. I didn't know how much he had played, but still, damn. Wow. Angelo.
Ah.
Angelo holds on.
He's
You
clinging
guys
to
that
it.
went separate. We gave you the option.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, we're 2 hours in, by the way.
I know, it's so crazy. 2 hours.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, Kevin. What do you got? Do you got pitchers or position players?
At like 10.
All right, let's see. Let's do something different. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going with pitchers and ERA.
Ooh, nice.
Why not? Let's challenge myself. I'm ready.
I like it.
Right.
I like it.
Let's see what do you got for me.
I like the game a lot.
Well, I need to refill a beer apparently. So let's just make work on me another beer while you
Starting with the Cubs, Kevin Kaufman. Not even sure. I have no
I
idea.
don't know who
this
that guy is.
No.
That ERA could be anything.
This is awesome. Knuckleballer Charlie Huff.
Oh my gosh.
nice.
This is already tough. I might not get past the first card.
That would have been hard to start out with, actually.
Oh god.
Very interesting. You probably know him for the Baltimore Orioles, Mike Boddicker, here with the Red Sox. Interesting. This player doesn't have any
is not
statistics,
easy.
as you see. This is Charles Nagy, who actually had a good career for the
another
Indians.
Olympian, I
Yep.
believe. I believe he's on the '88 Olympic team.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have anything. Oh, this is interesting. For the Astros, Larry Anderson.
Oh, grizzled vet right there. Look at that
Yeah,
stat.
total
Obviously
grizzle vet.
Jeez, I picked the wrong category.
Another Astro, Brian Meyer.
Okay.
Yep.
We have a lot of chew in that
Also
mouth
a
of his.
wrestler in New York right now. You know.
Oh, is that right?
Well, Brian Myers, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my years. Yeah.
famously had a really bad match at PWG too, actually. Versus
Oh,
AJ
really?
Yeah,
Styles in one of
yeah.
the bolas, but
Well, that's not for us to judge. That's for
Yeah.
my other person I know to
Yeah,
judge.
you
My
only
other
get
family
one
member.
match in PWG these days.
kind of. Yeah.
That's the way that it goes. This is Steve Searcy. I've heard the name, but I have no idea. He looks
Look
like
at that
kind of.
jacket, though. Come on.
I know
that's
the
like-
satin jacket rules.
My
The rule.
gosh. It's like
By the
nothing
way,
in it,
And
you
I have
know?
the Canadians jacket, the equivalence of this from
so
Allan.
good.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
I would wear
Yeah,
it, but I'd be
should
like
get
totally
my,
frying
you
right
know,
now.
Too hot.
Yeah.
It's too hot, baby. This is Don Carmen from the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah,
I don't know
Looks
what
like
he's about
he-
to throw at us, but it looks like
yeah,
he's
looks like he's
wicked.
hurting himself there.
God, I'm hurting looking at that.
And this is interesting. This is Alan Anderson
Ah, there you go.
for the Twins.
That looks like Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Sorry, that's an inside joke. That's what Michael always would call him. Is Frankie?
Yeah,
Kazarian.
Kazarian.
Is that his lucha name on a lucha
It
poster?
should be. I wish
It should
was.
be. It's funny because I used to be married to an Armenian girl, and I went up to him one time. I go, "Is your name Frankie Kazarian?" And he goes, "Are you ribbing me?" I'm like, because I'm like, I guess you're not Armenian. Sorry about that. So on your bench is Tom Hankey.
all right.
Good one.
I'm glad I have that on my bench.
That's a good one.
He's my best pitcher. Is gonna be on the bench.
This is Tom Browning.
Oh, right on.
Was
I
he
like
one of
my
the
bench
nasty
better than
boys?
Any of my other cards. Good solid.
Your bench is better than your stack.
Yeah, no kidding.
And from the Orioles, Jeff Ballard.
Okay.
Know the name.
Okay.
The name rings a bell, but wish me luck, guys. All right.
So you're going ERA. You're going ERA, correct?
ERA, like a numbskull. Let's see how this goes.
Like a numbskull.
Like
ERA
a
for
nincompoop.
him. Ooh, this is well, you're starting out good. 5.46.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. So 5.46.
versus who's this?
Knuckleballer Charlie Huff.
I can comfortably say Charlie Huff has a lower ERA.
5.46. 3.55.
Oh,
Hey, that's not too. Yeah, that's all right.
Not bad. You
Thank
you
God,
move
this
up.
was tough already. I'm like,
Ooh, Mike Boddicker. This
Oh,
is it.
God.
This is tough.
I'm like,
And your bench is tough too.
I know. That's I'm like, but Mike Boddicker is a solid pitcher.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm trying. Can you put that card down so you can see who I have coming up here? Because I want to see how I'm going to my bench now.
Larry
I have,
Anderson.
Larry Anderson.
Brian.
Because arguably this is the best pitcher in the whole deck right here.
Yeah,
Mike
arguably.
Boddicker is arguably the best pitcher here. I think it's gonna be close, but let me just gosh. Can I go to Tom Browning or do I have to pick? Am I allowed to pick my player off the bench?
Yeah.
Can I
You
go
going
to Tom Browning? Yeah, let's
Yep.
do it. 'Cause this might be the toughest matchup here. Let
Yeah.
me go Tom Browning.
So
What do I
Tom
got?
Browning
I think
replacing
that's my
Charlie
best
Huff. Oh, 3.81.
Oh no! Oh, I didn't think it'd be that high. Okay, I thought it was gonna be lower. Mike Boddicker, a lifelong pitcher. This is gonna be really close, but I'll say lower. gonna be
Lower
close.
than
This is gonna
3.81.
be close, but I'll say lower.
3.66.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good call.
So wait,
This-
what was the Charlie Huff again? Let me say that Charlie Huff again.
3.55.
It was 3.55,
5.5.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
lower originally, so
Yeah.
I worked out there. Oof, gosh.
So
Strategy.
This is a tough
3.66.
category though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Absolutely is. Larry Anderson.
What's my number again? 3 what?
6.6.
366. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is hard. Why'd I go ERA? I'll say higher.
3.66.
This could be lower, but I have no idea.
3.58.
Ah, my gosh.
Slightly lower.
I made that way too hard on myself.
This was tough.
ERA
This was-
is, oh no, ERA is not the way to go on this.
Let's look what Henke was. Henke 3.03.
Oh wow.
I thought it was way
And-
lower.
Jeff Ballard 5.09. That was your bench. So
I should know Henke was a really good pitcher in that time period. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. All right, Michael, you up. You're up. You need help
I
from
am
me?
up. I'm going to go with batting average,
Okay.
and I'm going to go with
Do you need to
position
help
players.
you regulate this at all, or are you good?
Yeah, go. Yeah, you can please you regulate. I'm actually going to go to you now. Go so you can commentate. Ready?
I'm always ready.
Who is
Except
this?
I have no idea who this batter is on the Kansas City Royals.
You do. You
I
do.
do?
He actually became the manager of the Kansas City Royals as well. And he actually,
I can use
there's
it
a
out
video
now.
of him throwing a phone at reporters, and actually one walked out bloody.
That's, Hal McRae.
Hal McRae, nicely done.
A very good, lifelong hitter. That's sort of the end of his active batting career.
This
I like that
is
you do that. Good job. Oh, this is your team here.
it is.
About
Who
like
is this?
something Thompson. I have no idea. Who
Yes,
this
that
is.
Milt Thompson.
Milt Thompson.
Milt Thompson.
Very good.
You'll
This is one of the
you'll know
game
this
days.
one. His nickname. I'm not sure if it was actually
You
accepted.
get all Cardinals. This is
Yeah,
so
no
rigged.
kidding.
This is rigged. This is
This
so
is-
rigged for
his
your
nickname
team.
was
Willie McGee,
ET.
sir. I know that is.
He actually
Yes.
he actually left the Cardinals. This was and then he left and then actually came back under the La Russa years. Willie McGee actually had a great
Yep.
catch in the '85 World Series.
He's the Sam Cassell of MLB.
Yeah, agreed. You guys might know this guy.
Kelly Gruber. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on them. But
Yeah.
there you go. I knew that one.
What do you know of Kelly Gruber, guys?
He should have been a triple play.
Oh, 100%. We've talked about that on the blogcast.
Very good.
Very
If-
nicely
if
done.
there was video review back then, it would have been a triple play.
Easy
Yeah.
call. Easy call.
Yep. Good, solid third baseman for that
Yes,
team.
yep. On those World Series winning Blue Jays. teams.
Pete somebody. I don't know. Do you know who that is? Don't look it up. Hey, don't look because you're cheating.
Pete Stananek.
Don't
I
look.
have no idea. I have no idea who that is. Oh,
right,
you'll know
this-
this one.
you-
This is a good baseball name.
Hey, I met that guy at the Sequoia Club in Buena Park, California in 1986 or 87. That'd be Kevin Seitzer.
Kevin,
Kevin Seitzer. Nicely done.
I got to go to the card
Nicely done.
shows. I think the same day I got an autograph photo of Rob Deere.
Nicely done.
Just to talk to you. That's the reason why I say that.
You guys,
Who you got?
being from the Pacific Northwest, you might remember
Oh,
this
there he
player.
is.
Jay Buhner.
Nice.
Mentioned
good
earlier on
card.
the show by Daniel. Very good. And mentioned, very good player.
Frank Costanza's favorite player.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna say, I was gonna make a Seinfeld reference. I'm like, yeah,
This guy, you probably know him. I think he was more a Royal than he was a
Yeah,
Yankee
for
here.
sure. That's Jamie Quirk.
Nicely
Catcher.
done. Very controversial Hall of Famer here.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Harold Baines is definitely a controversial Hall of Famer. Yes. Yeah. I'm not. There's way better players to be in before him. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
We talked about Spanky Lavalier, and Barry Bonds did not throw this player out. Here he is.
Sid Bream. There you
For
go.
the Pirates. Sid Bream. Ooh, this would be good. Let's see who knows this guy. And he's a
I know
brewer,
that.
so we all drink.
Oh, I definitely. Oh, yeah, brewer. You got to drink to a brewer. This be catcher B.J. Surhoff.
Nicely done.
You just yeah.
All right.
Michael, ironically enough, I'm almost positive I got his autograph at the Sequoia Athletic Club in Wayne Park, California, much like Kevin Seitzer. That was like one of those places where they do card shows in like the mid to late 80s. Pay $5-6 to get this guy's autograph, you know?
All right, so we're going with Hal McRae.
I'm interested to see what his batting average is.
Batting average is
Probably,
not on here.
that's not him.
And it's Hugh Walker. They actually screwed this up. Are you kidding me? They actually screwed this up. That is nuts.
We failed our sobriety test. Clearly. We failed our sobriety test right there.
That is too funny. Hugh
Like
made
you
it
said, I'm like,
professional.
yeah, sure, it's Al McRae. I'm like, no, it's not even close.
Wow.
All right, what's your substitute card, Michael?
My substitute card is,
Pick a substitute.
and I know this, Vaughn Hayes.
Vaughn Hayes. Yeah, good solid player in the 80s.
Good solid
What's
player.
his batting average?
His batting average is 276.
Ooh, okay.
This is going to be tough. Oh,
yeah, I know. I like it already. Yeah,
wow, 276. Boy, I don't even know what to do here. I got Milt Thompson.
About this guy.
I got Milt Thompson. I'm going to go lower than 276.
I think that's pretty good. I think he's going to be like a 260 guy. But who knows?
All right.
Who knows for sure?
288.
Oh, my gosh.
Thanks,
Son of a gun. Angelo.
First, ran the gauntlet just about and beat all of us. And then he just leaves.
And then he's going to go watch Resurgent. Yeah, whatever, dude.
I was just thinking of going to that show, but I have to work at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So I'm like, yeah, I can watch. It's on New Japan World. So, you know.
So that was fun.
Taking that game. I hope you guys are all right with that.
I like that game.
Yes.
We liked it because we can involve anybody who's on the show. Yeah. That was the whole idea of it.
And the whole thing of it was we used to play like baseball card pack wars, which is like, like war, it's like higher or lower. Sometimes you don't know what's higher or lower. So we definitely like to test everybody's baseball knowledge. And this basically tests your knowledge.
Milt Thompson is now Michael Mondragon's least favorite player in MLB.
It's funny because if you look up the word Milt in the dictionary, it actually is well,
I want to know why you know this before you say it.
because whenever we would hear people and their first name is Milt, if you actually look it up in the dictionary, and I'll let you look it up on your own, it's not a very favorable name if you're a fish. Trust me. Okay. The word Milt, M-I-L-T. Okay. It should not be a human's name.
What about Milton? Like Milton
I'm going to assume it's short for Milton.
It is short for Milton, but people shorten it to Milt. And if you look up Milt in the dictionary, it's not very. Yes, are you doing it?
I want this live report from Daniel
This is where a very expansive vocabulary gets you in trouble.
I want to hear.
And this is what I think. This is what I think of Milt Thompson right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is what I think of
not
Milt
like-
Thompson right now.
All
So
right. Huh.
yeah, this is why the PWG commentary
knew?
would be so fun. We would
Yeah.
actually
Who did
throw
you
out
learn something
tidbits like
today,
this.
Daniel?
Say that again.
Who knew you would learn something today?
Yeah,
Right.
you-
I definitely
you
did not
learned
expect to learn this specifically either. No. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so thank you, Milt Thompson. I can't wait to put this in the shredder. Anyway, congratulations to Angelo for that.
Angelo left. He like, I already ran it. I left. I
Yeah,
have
he
things to
ran
do. I have a
the
family.
gauntlet. It's good. And
Asterisks.
Hey, you know what?
Asterisks.
yes,
He hasn't won, so we'll give it to him.
his gimmick is that he doesn't win in the regular like Card Sharks or Pack
Yeah.
Wars, but he ran the gauntlet today. He outclassed us for sure. So guys, I mean, we've gone like almost like 2.5 hours here. Hopefully you're having a good time, and so
I hope
let's
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's wind
really hope
down
so.
a little bit. I saw that Daniel had wrestled Tim Thatcher, and I wrestled Tim Thatcher at the very end of my career. He was super awesome. I think I asked Allan this before, potentially, but like, in your career right now, who are the biggest people that you've wrestled in your career?
I'm not sure if you asked me mine. Mine probably would have to be, I wrestled in a multi-man with Matt Cross, and I've wrestled SoCal's B-Boy.
Sure.
And then that's probably it for me that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been blessed, honestly, to have some of the opportunities that I've had. I've wrestled Tim 4 times, and those were the matches that really put me on the map.
Yeah.
We had 3 matches in Seattle, and kind of the trilogy every summer for 3 consecutive summers, and we were kind of gearing up for the third one to be the final one, and literally 2 days before that match happened, we both got message saying, "Hey, you're wrestling each other in Toronto next month for WXW." So
Wow.
so very lucky that I've wrestled him 4 times. Jonathan Gresham, who we mentioned earlier, who Kevin said he saw Lee Moriarty wrestle in Southern California recently. I was very lucky to wrestle him, which at the time was the biggest show I'd ever worked, which was 3-2-1 Battle, our home promotion in Seattle, which is no longer with us. They ran the Showbox, which is a very legendary concert venue in Seattle. It's right across the street from the Pike Place Market, which is probably the most famous tourist attraction other than the Space Needle, probably.
Yep.
So yeah, wrestled him in front of like 800 people, which was an amazing experience. And then, I mean, there's others for sure, but I think it comes down to I was incredibly lucky when I went to Germany the most recent time to wrestle in a tag match against Yuki Ishikawa and Daisuke Ikeda of the Battle Arts promotion. And both guys were Fujiwara Gumi guys beforehand. Ikeda went on to wrestle for All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, and I got to have a tag match against those two, which was really amazing. And as I was saying that out loud, it dawned on me that the other one, which I'm you guys maybe a little bit more familiar with, being Southern California and then the connection to Lucha Libre, but I got to wrestle Negro Navarro.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow.
What? How did I not know this?
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's very good. I got to wrestle like a 64-year-old Negro Navarro who does not speak any English.
That's awesome.
Where did you wrestle Negro Navarro?
Yeah, at 3-2-1 Battle in Seattle. Yeah.
They flew him up to Seattle for that?
No, he was in town for a lucha promotion called Lucha Libre Volcanica.
Yeah, so there was
right on.
There's a bit of a story. So there was a lucha promotion in Seattle called Lucha Libre Volcanica, who would bring him in annually for a seminar. And the first year they brought him in, it was the same weekend as my cousin's wedding. And so I didn't get to go to this seminar, which I very much wanted to go to.
Mm.
And then the following year, they brought him in again for another seminar. And it was the same weekend that my band was going on tour across Western Canada. So again, I didn't get to go to this seminar. The following year, third time's the charm. They're bringing him in for 2 back-to-back weekends. So, okay, no excuses. I can make it to one of these, right?
Right.
The first weekend is unopposed. There's no 3-2-1 show. But the following weekend, the seminar is the Saturday and Sunday after a Friday night 3-2-1 battle show. So I figured, okay, I'll have my match Friday night in Seattle. I'll spend the night and do his seminar the next day, right? The previous weekend that he's down in Seattle doing the seminar, one of the local Seattle Lucha guys messages me saying, he's just hanging out in Seattle all week. You should convince 3-2-1 to book him against you because we know how much you'd love to wrestle him and you have the style that would match up with him the best, right? And so I messaged the booker at 3-2-1, who was a friend of ours, and said, this is the only time I've ever done this, but I said, you don't have to pay me. If you book me against Negro Navarro, like, I will be forever indebted to you. And so he went to the gym where Navarro was running the seminar, and he brokered the deal. And on like a 1 week's notice, we made the match happen. But the funny thing was, I always thought, how is Negro Navarro constantly getting booked in Seattle for this seminar? Like, what's the connection to Seattle specifically? Right. So after we have this match, it goes really well. We weren't even the main event. We went semi-main because we thought, what's this Seattle crowd that's not a lucha crowd? They're not going to Navarro. Who knows how well it's going to get over? But it's kind of just a dream match, so we're making it happen.
Right.
It got over like gangbusters.
Wow.
Where the people are just going crazy.
I definitely got to check it out.
Cheering for this 60-year-old legend, just tying me in knots, basically. And me just feeding and selling for him, basically, right?
Yeah.
And so afterwards, we're both at our merch tables selling our gimmicks. And this woman comes up to me and says, oh, because there was definitely a bit of a lucha crowd who did come to the show, but a handful of people, right? Oh, Negro Navarro's on the show. We're going to go, right?
Yeah.
So this Spanish woman comes up to me and says, oh, can you come and get a picture with my brother? Oh, yeah, okay, of course I'll come take a picture with your brother, whatever. And she grabs me and she brings me over and stands me next to Negro Navarro.
Oh.
Wow.
So he's got family in Seattle, and he would basically use it as a working vacation to see his family, and we were able to make it happen. So, yeah, that's the answer. It's Yuki Ishikawa, and I like to think that I'm the only person who's wrestled Yuki Ishikawa and Negro Navarro, who are like two legends of mat wrestling in their respective worlds, more the Japanese shoot style and the Mexican llave. So
right on. That's it's tremendous.
That's so
tremendous.
Cool.
Love it.
Oh my
God. Did the Traumas ever wrestle up there as well? Since that's
no, I would love to wrestle the Traumas. They're so good, and no one like so few people know them. They must have worked Southern California at some point.
I've seen them like once or twice in the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm just like, oh my god, they're wrestling in LA. I have to go. It's one of those things where I have to go.
Maybe my favorite match of the last decade is I think it's Trauma 1 or Primera or whatever versus Canis Lupus. It's a mask versus mask match from IWRG from 2016. If you have not seen it, it's a bloodbath like every good mask versus mask should be.
Oh yeah.
And it's an amazing match. It's on YouTube. So
yeah. If I've seen that, it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah. Oh yeah. I've never heard about that match for sure. Oh my gosh. And those guys, I got
those,
about 2 years
Los
ago.
Traumas are Negro Navarro's sons for those who are
I saw them wrestle Los Luchas about 2 or I don't want to say it was 3 years ago at a show in LA. In like some tiny little like auto body shop that they converted to an arena.
Sounds about right.
And Superboy's just hanging out ringside. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So that's and we Kevin and I talk about this quite a bit, that we were very lucky to be where we were at the time that we were.
Yes.
And definitely got to get in, like, for instance, I wrestled, I trained at Gil's Garage, with Superboy, and then eventually I was on like the Lucha Vavoom shows. We went to WPW, and there was all those people that went through Anaheim Marketplace. and Martin Marin had, all those people that went through there, and we were in a very, very special time of wrestling. And we got to wrestle like a lot more people than we thought that we would even be able to wrestle. I remember one time, I think it was 2004, there was like the Best of the West show, and like B-Boy was on it, and Little Cholo, and he was eventually on the El Rey show. Lucha
he was on Lucha Underground briefly.
Yeah, there was a lot of Lucha Underground people.
Both of them were. B-Boy got murdered. Lucha Underground.
And
B-Boy got murdered.
right. And so, but the fact we got to wrestle like a lot of these people and be a part of it, a part of like WSX and all that stuff, and
you were on that season of WSX, right?
Yeah,
he was the star. He was on the most of anybody.
I have that series on DVD. I love that show. It didn't air on TV here because we didn't get MTV proper.
Oh,
but,
right.
We would watch it online, and then eventually it did come out on DVD, and that's such a soft spot. It was fun. It campy. It's only 10 like half an hour episodes too, right? So it's easy to watch. Yeah.
And we were actually on
you were the star of the show. Just say it. You and your tag partner.
You and your partner who's redacted currently.
Me and my canceled tag team partner.
Most episodes of anybody.
Yeah, we had the most episodes. We won the first tag match against like Horiguchi and Yoshino.
No, I thought it was Yoshino.
What's that?
I thought it was Doi and Yoshino, wasn't it?
No, it was Horiguchi.
Oh, it was Genki and Yoshino. Sorry,
Genki and then we wrestled like Seth Rollins and I was like I said
him and oh shoot, well
Jimmy Jacobs.
Jimmy Jacobs, yeah.
Like Nate Webb was on there and we wrestled. I mean, it's like it. I said I actually said this because I actually rewatched the Hoppy Hour with Allan from last time, and one of the things I said was like, you can't dream big enough for wrestling. Like if you stick in it long enough, you're gonna get some opportunities that you would never in a million years thought you would be eligible for.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and so like that's why I used to joke with Kevin all the time. Because I quit. I said I actually met Terry Funk in 2008, and I actually walked up to him and when I met him, I go, Terry, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I think I'm the second most person that I've actually retired one less time than you did.
Than he has, yeah.
And he goes, and he in only the way that Terry Funk could say it, he goes, sometimes you just gotta cool down your jets a little bit. And I'm like,
true,
phenomenal, phenomenal,
very Terry.
Yeah, and very Terry, and
that's the thing, we both trained when we were younger in our 20s, and then took time off to do other things, to do life stuff, and I mean we were backyard wrestlers really, and we both got trained, and then we had other passions, right? He really went in on baseball, and I was all in on playing in bands, and then. It was both when we were in our kind of early to mid 30s that we were like, hey, we still have a passion for this, and we still have goals we want to accomplish. And we're
all right at it.
And we're okay at this. And so like now's the time to get back into it. So, and with the way that the internet works, the world is so small that like people all over the world can know who you are and want to see you wrestle, so. Yeah.
So can I add on to that? And I'm gonna give you a perfect example of what you just said.
Yes.
It is 2006, and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is wrestling for the first time in Germany. We actually wrestled in Germany, and then we wrestled in England the next day. So we wrestled at WXW, that venue, that little small club venue.
Yep.
And we wrestled, it was Tenkwa, it was Tommy End, and Top Gun Talwar. It was against me, Excalibur, and Ronan.
Yep.
And it was a blur. There was like we go there, and it was like the fact that it was like it was my promotion, it was wrestling at this venue, and then Super Dragon set up a lot of it because of his travels with El Generico and Kevin Steen. The fact that we were wrestling there was insane. So we wrestled in the opening match, and I do the opening with Tommy End. And, Tommy End, for those who don't know, is now Aleister Black, and now he's in AEW. Malachi Black. And so at the end of the match, we literally had, we got there. The way that wrestling kind of works, you just go, "Hey, how you doing? Okay, you're this person. We're wrestling together. What do you want to do?" And then we just kind of like, okay, well, let's have this and this, and we're gonna do this and this and this, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna finish with this. And it's like, okay, it's like, so as we, so I'm gonna.
Sorry, my phone's about to die.
Oh. We tried to do that as seamless as possible, and there wasn't.
There you go. It worked out. It worked out.
All right, we're only 2.5 hours in. It's okay.
Yeah.
His phone's literally on 2%. So.
Okay, gotcha. So
right.
so we wrestled and we did our match, and it was like everything is all honky dory, and so we go in the back, and we're just like, we can finally exhale because we're just like, okay, we did this and all is good. So Tenkwa and Tommy Ann come up to us. They're like, "Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to wrestle you." And it's like, I mean, this is a kind of like praise that's, we're expecting. If we were international wrestlers, we'd be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." We're like, super thank you. Like, oh God, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We had a very fun match. So at the end of it, they go, no, you guys don't get it. Like, we used to watch like VHS tapes of you here in Germany of your Revolution Pro shows. Yeah. So like me and Kevin, doing stuff in 1999, like it made its way to Germany, and they're watching it and they're inspired by it, and it's what made them want to do this more. And that is the part that I never really thought about, that you're influencing another generation, by what we're doing, just DIY, going back to what we talked about before.
Yep.
Just making it happen. Just like, people were saying like, "Oh, you guys are indie, you guys are this, you guys are that." By the way, the Young Bucks used to get that same treatment.
Believe me, we picture this. I mean, you guys see videos. We're doing this stuff in 1998, 99. That's kind of why we had to start our own thing, because no one wanted to touch us. All Pro West APW was the only people who would even think about touching us.
Yep.
In that period.
When we started PWG in 2003, here was our competition: Ultimate Pro Wrestling, who was backed by the WWE, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, that was in Santa Monica.
Yeah, at the dojo. Yep.
At the dojo. Even like AWS, which we talked about Bart before, was bigger than us.
Rev Pro was at points.
Revolution Pro was bigger.
Rev Pro was at points.
Yeah.
Depending on what the matchups were.
Yeah. So when we started, people didn't, even think about us as like, anything.
Michael, can I add? Yeah. I had no idea about Tommy End until the last time Dragon wrestled, which, apparently he's going to be wrestling soon. News to me. Like, I was at the show and he came out and I'm like, I don't know, my ref, like, you didn't tell me this was going to happen. I'm just like, so he last wrestled about 6 years ago. He did like a guerrilla warfare match, and the match is amazing. It's insane. And next day he did a match, and he got, I think it was his heel got a little messed up during the match. And Tommy is attending to him and helping him out. And afterwards, I'm just like talking to Tommy, "Hey, thank you for helping Dragon." I almost said his real name, kayfabe. I'm like, "Oh, thank you for helping Dragon, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, hey, my name's," I said who I was. And he looks at me, he's like, "You're Taro?" And he starts telling me how he used to watch us on Rev Pro tapes. I'm just like, my brain kind of just went exploded. Like, what? Because
mind blowing.
I've had that happen a couple times. Like, actually, Daniel was one where he's like, I used to watch you on Rev Pro tapes. Like, what?
Yeah.
And like Adam Cole's the other one. And I'm like,
I bought those Rev Pro VHSs from Michael because he was the guy doing merch a lot of the time. I recall corresponding.
it might have been me actually.
Yeah, it might have been him. I did the website, but he did the fulfillment.
I used to.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah,
I used to help in 2000 when the dojo first opened, 99 2000.
Yeah.
The gimmick was we had a few tapes we would sell on eBay constantly.
Yeah.
And I would help run the auctions and produce the tapes to send out to people.
Yeah.
So
it was a
way
perfect
to
storm.
make money for the dojo and for shows. You know what I mean?
It was a perfect storm.
It was really the, where a lot of people I think got word was, I was an avid reader of Death Valley Driver.
Yep.
Yes.
And it was them reviewing the you and Dragon.
Yes.
And
the 7/7/2000 match. Yes, sir.
Seen Psycho Driver. And so, yeah. But
mind you, it more or less was like, hey, I got this idea for a move. I'm like, okay. And I was the guinea pig. I'm like, all right, I'm okay. Just, I don't know if I say change the business, but it was definitely a crazy move in that time period.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. When you're just talking about kind of your competition at the time when PWG starts, just remind me, I've never asked you about this. We've obviously conversed via DM and stuff. But there was, when XPW ran the Olympic, there was a tag match. I think it was you and Rising Sun versus Dragon and Excalibur.
Yep.
And if I recall, you guys just throw every crazy thing you have in
sir.
Match and got a lot of heat for it. So it goes to the story. I was just wondering if there's any stories about that match.
So more or less, this is when Rev Pro was around, and to even go back a little further, the second ever XPW show, they had me and Mr. Excitement do a tag match with Record Wild Chad Yakuza, and they said, you got 12 minutes, go out and do your stuff. Like, okay, great. And literally, I walk out the curtain, and everyone is chanting Power Ranger at me.
Of course.
And just laughing at me nonstop. And I'm like, okay, great. That's how this is going to go. And we're literally out there about 2 minutes, and they tell us to go home. And we're like, and mind you, we're really, really green at this point. Where we're playing everything. We have everything in our head. We're going to do it the way we're going to do it. And it's like, okay, now what? And I did a dive, and everyone's trying to FPW me. And I'm like, okay, great. And we came backstage, and we were kind of like, kind of pitching a fit where you shouldn't pitch a fit in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is where I come to, then we go later. We get a second shot. And obviously, you look on YouTube, that match is on YouTube. And people love that match.
Yeah.
It's just me and Rising Sun doing this match with Dragon Excalibur where they'll do your stuff. And we did for 2001, a crazy mix of lucha, Japanese, and American wrestling. And for 99% of the match was smooth and flawless. It was us at our best, honestly.
Yeah.
I almost tell people this day, if you want to see me in a match, watch this match.
Yeah, Kevin was a star in that match.
I rarely. I don't know if I ever looked better.
No, but that's it. It was perfect for you. But I want to ask Allan and Daniel, what do you think that we were trying to channel when we were doing the matches that we were trying to do back then? What do you think were our super influences?
I mean, All Japan's a big one.
Wow, sure. That's awesome that you saw that.
Yeah, All Japan's a big one. I mean, the Lucha Race.
That's more Dragon than anybody else, probably. But
more Dragon and Excalibur a little bit, but
for sure, yeah.
The Lucha Risu promotions for sure, Michinoku and
that was Michinoku's probably number one, honestly, at least for me.
Yeah.
Because look at me, back then I was 5 foot 740 pounds.
Yeah.
I would joke my office is DTs, Ranas. Anything else? Was there anything else I did? I don't know if there was.
You put
that's the majority of my offense. You know what I mean? And just work around that. You know.
Neck breaker.
Yeah, neck breakers. That's about it. You know.
But you're right.
But
You
gotta
nailed it.
work around the size and your gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You nailed it. We watched like the New Japan Juniors, the and
New
the
Japan's all Japan heavy.
the
That was always
Michinoku.
what people, yeah.
But we tried to bring that all Japan and right, it's that strong style back into it. And unfortunately, I think the strong style is the part that probably hurt us because we legitimately tried to kill each other.
Yeah. And you gotta realize part of the environment for us too was where we lived.
Yeah.
We were able to get, it was easy for us to get video of like All Japan, New Japan TV, and we had people who were able to easily get us tapes of these shows from Michinoku and all these other groups. And you met Superboy. We knew Superboy.
That's
Like
it,
we
right.
would give him tapes of the tours. He would give us
Who was
like merchandise.
a regular for Michinoku. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
gave me shirts of Michinoku Pro, and I'm like, and you know how much it hurts me that I don't have those shirts anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I still had these.
I've got
shirts.
a funny story that ties into Superboy and just kind of just shows you how crazy this wrestling universe is. That
Go for it.
Let me tell you real quick. So
Please.
when I was in high school, my senior year of high school, and was going to lots of local independent shows. ECCW was the big indie here.
Yep.
And they didn't bring in too many names. They occasionally did bring some guys up from Northern California.
Asian Cougar.
Oh yeah, and there was some like the one kind of Japanese export they brought in was a guy named Asian Cougar. Who was like,
heck yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Indie Gum, DDT.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Black Dragon.
Asian Cougar.
Brett Como was as
Don't get me started on Thunderbird. Thunderbird Brett Como, the Ultimate
still
Dragon.
working today, guys. He's not very good anymore, but
Love Thunderbird. Sorry.
But anyways, so I'm
Right.
going to tell you who this is because the punchline's at the end. But I befriended someone who was an internationally traveled wrestler, Canadian guy who ended up settling in Vancouver because I believe his wife was from the area. And I did a school project in my senior year of high school all about comparing wrestling in various environments and different parts of the world and how it's culturally different and how it's incorporated and more so in places like Mexico and wherever. Mm-hmm. And I had a firsthand an interview with this person who had worked literally all over the world. And I just became friends with him. I met him at an ECCW show because I wanted him to sign a Japanese magazine that I had bought on High Spots. And he asked me where I got it and how much I paid for it. And I told him, and he said, oh, next time I go to Japan, let me know what you want. I'll buy some stuff for you, right? So I've got a Misawa shirt. I got a Sakuraba shirt. I've got a bunch of got from this person. And just through conversation, I used to hang out with him and whatever. And he told me that the best match he ever saw his entire life, all these years of traveling all over the world and whatever, there was a 6-man tag on a Michinoku show at Corrigan Hall that was Shima, Superboy, and Christopher Daniels versus Minoru Fujita, Fantastic. I don't know if you remember him. He was
wow, yeah.
And
he was like in Big Japan, mostly.
He did Big Japan, and then he did some Michinoku. And who was the last person on the babyface team? Oh, Jody Fleisch, a young Jody Fleisch.
Whoa.
Sure.
He was done doing Doc Dean at that. I'm sorry. What was the? I'm sorry.
Doc Dean.
Sorry.
Dako Chen.
I messed up.
Racist gimmick.
I meant his mask gimmick. I'm sorry.
Doc Chen.
Doc Chen. Thank you.
Jody Fleisch. They have a crazy 6-man tag. It's in December of 1999. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it.
Oh, right on.
And the person this was their favorite match they had ever seen in their entire life was Rick Patterson, who portrayed Leatherface.
Leatherface, yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah,
and
I know Rick Patterson.
He's like Christopher Daniels and this little kid from England and Shima, and I was like,
so he was. And I meant to ask, he wasn't Curryman. He was Christopher Daniels in that match.
It was him as Curryman.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He just reminded me. I've wrestled Shima as well. He just reminded me.
You wrestled Shima?
Oh, no kidding.
Wait. We need to go back.
Did you wrestle Sema or did you wrestle Shima?
Shima.
the capital CIMA. I know.
There you go.
I
That's
know,
the
that
Sima.
was derived from-
But not Shima Nobunaga.
Yeah.
Not Shima Nobunaga, no. But I would always pronounce it Shima, even though it's spelled
Sure,
with a C.
exactly.
That's
yes,
how it's supposed to be a Shiva, yeah.
I wrestled him in 2019 in Toronto as a part of SummerSlam weekend.
Wow.
Same weekend
yeah.
as the last time I wrestled Tim. So yeah.
That's
that's
awesome.
But you blew me away with Rick Patterson because I would see him on. I think he wrestled in Mexico some too.
He did wrestle in Mexico, yeah.
And I think I actually saw him on Mexico TV when I was growing up.
I think he still lives in Vancouver. I haven't seen him in
Rick
years.
Patterson.
He's originally from Winnipeg, and yeah,
I feel like I saw a picture of him recently with Star.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
possible. Yeah. I think he had his retirement match a couple years ago, and I was at a show he worked
Yeah.
here a couple years ago, but yeah.
Are you talking about
Anyway.
Michelle Starr?
Yeah, talking Michelle.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
I have a pinfall in Revolution Pro over Michelle Starr.
Very nice.
I'm gonna message him that.
Michelle Starr.
don't.
He fucking hated it. He was so mad. He was so mad.
really Dodgers
This go over. Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah.
Michelle Starr's a massive LA Dodgers fan, and he
Oh.
promotes a group up here called All Star Wrestling because that's like the classic British Columbia territory name, obviously, like Al Tomko's All Star Wrestling.
Yep.
And both Al and I have worked for him in the past, and he's a nice enough guy. He's an agreeable enough guy.
Yeah,
now
is he-
age, so
Until you ask him to put you over.
Yeah, he was very pissed about it. He
I
goes,
remember he was not happy.
yeah,
about
he
that.
goes, trust me, like this would not happen anywhere else. There's something to that effect.
Territory. The guy was wrestling for us at Rev Pro for like 2 weeks. You know, it's like, and he was mad about putting Michael over on the show. It's like, come on.
For the last couple of years, he's been like talking about getting back in the ring because his back's been a problem. And I recently messaged him and asked him if because he's a big baseball fan and a Dodgers fan. And I was like, hey, what do you think about being my baseball manager?
Ooh.
He completely no-sold my message.
Oh.
It's probably not going to happen. So.
What a missed opportunity.
Luke Ellis style,
Yeah, right?
like manager in the corner. I think
That'd be
that'd amazing.
fun.
That'd be
I would-
amazing.
I would love to do that.
There's
Give
so
me
much
that love to do
opportunity with that.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh my God, there's so many possibilities. I could be in the corner banging the trash can. I could oh my God,
You might
so
be
good.
booking
There's so
yourself-
much possibilities
you might be
there.
booking yourself in this conversation with he's got an upcoming SoCal dates. You might be getting yourself a booking out of it.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
God,
You could go to replay.
I'm all about that.
So much. So
That's-
much.
If you're a heel, oh my gosh, and you do your gimmick, I can do banging the trash can and signs. That'd be
That
oh
is
my God, that'd be great.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kayfabe, but like you talk about that off the air.
I can't
that's
wait to
awesome.
talk
More
about
about
this more. So you know we're actually going. This has been the longest.
We're talking to ourselves at this point. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah, if you're out there, please like message us.
Say
Like,
hi.
I want to know how long you've been on because this has been just amazing.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're talking to these guys. It's nice to talk to Daniel after talking to him online for like 3 years.
Yeah, well, we were supposed to go to Wisconsin together this past year. Yeah,
Last June.
yeah.
We're gonna go to a punk rock fest and hopefully catch a Brewer game and see the Crusher statue.
The Crusher statue. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
It's been
right
for
that
2022, so.
so if you check the Beer Baseball blogcast, I actually went to the Crusher statue. There's also the Bronze Fonz that's actually in town. So actually, Arthur Fonzarelli is actually there too.
I was hoping to do all that.
And then Broken Bat Brewing is right there. It actually is not that it's the same place. It's actually moved. But who is going to be at the punk rock show?
It would have been a bunch of bands that you wouldn't know. Don't worry about
Come on.
it. It was the Marks band, and I'm like, who might say who people might know on that?
Yeah,
Daniel?
so it's a label called Dirt Nap Records that actually originally started in Seattle and then relocated to Portland, and then subsequently sold off to a different owner and has relocated it to Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
And so it was going to be a 2-day festival of all the bands on that label.
Wow.
A lot of whom are from Texas, and including one of the headliners is a band from England that I really like called Martha, who were going to be coming over specifically for the festival. But,
wow, how interesting.
It was going to be a lot of fun. I was like, this is a perfect excuse for me to visit Milwaukee and Madison.
Knock off a ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping to catch a couple games there. But
yeah, so I when I went to Madison, I went to go see the Madison Mallards, which is an independent team.
Yep.
Now, are you ready for this? Do you know who actually is was a member of the Madison Mallards and actually got ejected before the first he could play?
No.
Kevin?
No, am I supposed to know this?
You should. I told you.
You told me. You told
Gary
me.
Coleman.
You told me. You didn't know before we were on the air.
Gary Coleman from Different Strokes. Gary Coleman.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about this show. Yes.
He was actually, and Jose Canseco played for the Madison Mallards. But the story on Gary Coleman was, okay, so they had him, and they actually had him in a Madison Mallards uniform and everything. They introduced him. He went out and he had an argument during his introduction with the umpire and got thrown out of the game, so he could not play in the game.
So good.
So good.
That's great. So great.
I love it. I actually went to 2 games, and they were in the first game they were the Madison Cheese Curds. The second game they were the Madison Mallards proper. So this is where it gets super nerdy with baseball. I have not released.
3 hours in.
Yeah, 3 hours in. I have not released this video. I still am going to release this video at some point. But that's Madison, Wisconsin. I actually went, and then I went to two Brewer games, which is actually on our channel. And then I actually went to the Milwaukee Milkmen, which is an independent league where the guy, this is legit. So the guys dress up as milkmen, right? And they go around and they do their whole thing and everything. And it's an independent league. Now we talk about all these independent leagues. One of the independent league teams that actually got, there's one in Chicago called the Chicago Dogs. Eventually, they're going to be a minor league team. Eventually, because the St. Paul Saints were in the same league, and now they're a minor league team, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. So all these teams
now, a big thing for you guys, hopefully next season, is that Vancouver is a full season team again.
Yes, they are.
And believe me, part of me is a little bit hurt because California League has been a high A team forever, and they got demoted to low A. And the Northwest League went from short season to full season and high A. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm a little perturbed by that, but it is what it is.
The best independent league team right now, in my opinion, and just based on their promotions and everything else, is the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Boom! I was waiting for that.
I'm like, you better say it. I was ready.
If you follow their I know not a lot of people are on TikTok, but if you follow their TikTok, they show all their they had a batter come up to the plate with a caddy the other day.
Yeah.
God, what? Oh my God!
Wow. You can see the opposing team's catcher cracking up behind the plate. It's they have to stand through all this.
Yep.
They have a guy that's dressed in an all yellow suit and a top hat in their dugout at all times.
Yeah.
It's the absolute best.
Yeah.
It looks so much fun.
So the Savannah Bananas has been a favorite of ours for quite a while. In fact, when we first started this, one of our first purchases, I got Kevin a Savannah Bananas shirt.
Yep.
I also got one too. And the guy who, what's his name? Jay something?
Oh God!
But we and there's a thing called the Baseball Relinquary, and they actually have people that are inducted into this kind of Hall of Fame, and he was actually a candidate, and he was I can't remember his name, but anyway,
I know.
I was going to go to a Savannah Bananas game, and it was sold out at the time that we were going. So it was like we kind of missed it. Their games are actually sold out. They're actually a hard ticket to get. Yep. Their competition is the Macon Bacon, which is very close to them. And if you watch, they have not failed to. I remember one time they had trouble with like promoting their games. So they actually had a guy. They actually had a camera, like a phone camera on him, and he was like marking it like on a scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy, but he would walk around in a yellow suit.
Yeah,
and he had like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he had this competition last year. It was like, where are we gonna go next? Where is it? L.A.? Is it like Anchorage, Alaska? And then it turned out it was like somewhere like in Alabama or something.
Somewhere close by, but you know, it is what it
somewhere
is.
Close by. But they had a guy who wore stilts at bat. Yep. Right? They just had a Richard Simmons like thing that they just did. I mean,
second inning stretch. That's
second inning stretch.
With him.
And so
what's going on here? Like
I got
it's
first base without the shirt recently.
Yes, they made baseball fun again, right?
I think early on in the season they played in kilts.
I
think they played in kilts early on in the season.
Oh, you're probably right on that.
Like it's just.
I mean, I'm seeing here their team's TikTok has over 14 million views. I mean, that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's so fun to watch. Like it's the most ridiculous stuff. It's basically I would say it's pro wrestling meets baseball.
100%. 100%.
And honestly, they're not an affiliated team. They're running on their own thing. You have to do those kind of things. Yeah. Like we've talked on the show about like a Bill Veck kind of guy who's like, we're looking for stuff to just sell tickets because that's how they're going to make money. They're not going to make money any other way. That's why Major League Baseball changed because you got to make these crazy logos. We talked about the Lookouts were one of the first ones to make a crazy logo.
Yep.
You know?
So there he is right there. Definitely. And you know, we've been big fans of them for like a long time. Like,
I hope I can get out there someday. It'd be nice.
I had a hat of theirs at one point, and then when I did my big purge, it went with it. Because it was
Jesse Cole is the name of the guy.
Jesse Cole. There you go.
Yes, Jesse Cole. He's the owner.
That's
the guy in the team photo. He's the guy in the yellow suit. Sorry.
Yeah, the all yellow uniforms. I absolutely love them.
Yep.
They're just so ridiculous.
Yep.
And they have guys mic'd up throughout the entire game and just talking to you.
Yeah.
Did we lose Michael?
Yeah, we lost for a second. Don't worry about it. Okay. I didn't say something. He disappeared. No, but that's okay. We'll make it. We'll make do. Don't worry about it. But Savannah would be a team I'd love to see, but I don't think it's anywhere near where we're going anytime soon. Unfortunately.
I mean, when you make your Atlanta run, see the Braves. That's probably the time to do it.
Yeah, I don't know how far that is because even like Chattanooga, I would love to go to a Chattanooga game, but I went to Chattanooga. I went there like about 7 or 8 years ago, and I'm like, shoot, the Lucas aren't in town, but Chattanooga is only about 90 minutes from Atlanta, so it's doable. The way it's placed. So I'm like,
I flew in and out of Atlanta last weekend.
Oh wow, okay, all right. And I meant to ask earlier because sure you're in shape, but there's in-ring shape.
Yeah,
and you said you did 5 matches over the weekend
in 3 days. Yeah.
So how are you feeling now? I mean, honestly,
I'm okay. Yeah,
you were good by Tuesday.
Yeah, like
the big old cut on your head. Oh, there it is. He got it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got mine, but I'm not gonna go get it right now. I had to cover the show while Michael is off the air here, as we're talking about. Daniel have to do 5 matches in like 3 days after not wrestling barely for 18 months. I'm like,
I said I've lost a lot of weight in the last 3 months and made a big push for the last little bit. So I felt pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, and hoping to get back into the swing where I'm not necessarily wrestling every single weekend, but most weekends coming up. Yeah.
Like, how much time did you get to actually train in the ring before those matches, if at all?
You did maybe 4 RD's classes.
Yeah. So the funny
Okay.
thing is, I don't even go to wrestling training anymore. When I do train, I just go to I do catch wrestling. I do
Okay,
catch
right on. Well, at least you do
submission
something.
So,
Yes.
because like at this point, I don't need to be taking a bunch of extra bombs. I don't need to be
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I've got all that stuff, right? I need to make sure my wind is there, and catch wrestling is something that's just more interesting to me, and I like to incorporate elements of shoot things that you don't see in traditional pro wrestling and make it work with pro wrestling, right? So that's most of the training I do is catch wrestling at this point.
Good. And honestly, right now that's unique because there's not a lot of that out there. I mean, heck, even like 15 years ago when the World of Sports stuff was going on YouTube, I'm just like, my mind was just blown away watching like the Jerry Breaks and Mark Rock. And I know Mark Rocco's like Tiger, but I'm watching this Mark Rocco going, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's comparatively speaking to what guys are doing now, it's a simpler style,
Yeah.
No, it's
like Allan, like what is your favorite style of wrestling?
Oh, I probably lean towards more comedy style as of late. I like you mentioned earlier, I love Ebison. I love Orange Cassidy. I love that style. But I really enjoy watching Dan's style, and I have a soft spot for death matches too. I like to see the car crashes. Zona 23. It was our jam.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched Zona 23?
Get your junkyard.
Lucha in a junkyard in Mexico, Michael. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's
Oh, heck yeah.
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 I have not seen much. I saw the last show before COVID. I'm just like, whoa, my gosh.
My biggest thing is like that's not the finish.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
If you watch an entire 2-hour show from start to finish, you're pretty over it by the end. Like nothing.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'd have one specific style. I guess my moveset is more probably towards strong style.
He's kind of an all-around kind of guy. He definitely has more of a power-based offense. But just like me, you incorporate elements of what you know and what you like, and try to be uniquely yourself, right? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's unique is the more places you wrestle, and this is one thing that I learned as I was, kind of picking up things. The more places you wrestle, you pick up different little tips. Yeah. Like one of the things, like when I wrestled in Osaka Pro, one of the things they told me was, it's like you do one thing, you do the second thing, you do the third thing, and then you cover. There's a cadence to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you keep on doing this stuff. But then when I wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was like you get hit with something, fire up. You get hit with something, fire up even more. It's like the 1 2, but the 1 2 3 cadence was different.
Yeah,
was different. So when you start like, and then in lucha, you take this part of your brain or take this part of your head, you unscrew it, you take your brain, and you throw it out the window.
Yeah,
and then it's like you do everything backwards.
And literally, you do it on the other side as well.
100%. So that's what the beauty of wrestling is, that the more places that you wrestle, you learn these different styles. Just even locking up American, locking up lucha it's so different. You use different part of your brain and different moves and stuff like that. And I think that is for us, it's very gratifying. I'm not sure if it translates to the people that are watching sometimes, that are watching it, but like the people that know. Yeah. And that's the beauty, because I remember you were talking about wrestling someone who didn't speak the language, didn't speak English, right?
Negro Navarro, yeah.
Negro Navarro. Yeah. So how did you speak? You spoke in wrestling.
You don't speak.
It's funny that you say that, because this ties it all up. But he's literally a legend coming into admittedly a locker room he's never been in before. But the age old, come into the locker room and shake everyone's hand business, which, that's kind of an old tradition, and that can get tiresome at points, but you do it, right? Because that's what you do, especially if you're a new guy in the locker room. Negro Navarro came in and went and shook every single person's hand in that locker room.
I can confirm that.
And he finally gets to me, not knowing who I am, right? And there's 4 or 5 other people around us, and I shake his hand. I say, "Oh, we're wrestling tonight." And he goes, "Oh, I don't speak English." And I said, "Oh, I don't speak Spanish." This kind of looks at me, and I go, "But we both speak wrestling." And he goes, "Oh, see, wrestling." And there was multiple people who came up to me. They're like, "That was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen." In my life."
That's awesome.
They're like, I almost started tearing up being witness to that, So
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Like when Mr. Excitement and we went to Soccer Pro. And we flew there, and we were like totally jet lagged, and all of a sudden we had to wrestle. It would have been like 2:00 in the morning, probably LA time.
Yep.
So we wrestled Miracle Man, which was Hayato Nanjo, which I told you before, and Gama. Yep. And I don't remember what happened. Where I guess Ed and I were supposed to be on opposite teams, and then we decided they made us team or whatever. So, of course, they speak Japanese, but the biggest thing, we actually spoke more Spanish than we actually spoke Japanese, which was very interesting because they both trained in Japan. Yeah. I'm sorry, in Mexico.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yep. And so we go, this is literally the way that we plan out the match. Lock up, and then boom, 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 high spot, whatever way that it was, all like just talking like that.
Yeah.
And we're just like, like Ed was like, had more of a Masawa style. He goes, Masawa elbow, Masawa, ba, ba, ba. And that we would actually, that's the way we would talk. Yeah. And I go, I would do, I go, lock up, like this, and then like turn around, dance, Magnum Tokyo, dance, like we were talking, and then you go, for a tag they would say touch.
Yes.
So touchy, touch, and then it would always start with that, like we'd always start with that. But it was we talked wrestling more than we talked actually like actual anything language, coherent, right?
Yeah.
And it was very
find reference points too, right?
Totally.
Like, I one of my finishers is a cattle mutilation, the submission, right?
Yes.
And when I wrestle Shima, we're putting things together, and his English is very good, so that's none of that.
Yeah.
But I say, okay, for false finish, cattle mutilation. He goes, cattle mutilation. He kind of looks at me, and I go, okay, what's my frame of reference going to be? It was actually invented by a Japanese guy, Poison Sawada.
Wow.
Shoot. I forgot about that.
So I go, Brian Danielson. He goes, Brian Danielson. Yeah. Okay, cattle mutilation. So whenever we're running the match, we put the match together, and then we're going over it a couple times. And whenever we come to that point in the match, he'd sort of be, okay, da-da-da, then Brian Danielson, and da-da-da, and, go on from there. So I figured that was the more likely reference, and he got with it. So
yeah, he might not have known Poison Sawada for weirdly.
Maybe not. It's a little
Poison Sawada Julie.
Well,
yeah, Julie. That's right. Yeah.
Julie, I don't know how much early DDT he would have been watching.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows then?
Yeah. That's the fun part of wrestling. It's like just these, I said, you get to this kind of like, I was talking about this before when we were talking about WSX. Like WSX for me was like, and I said, I've been trying to quit. There's so many times where like wrestling makes you quit.
Yes.
Like it's like you could quit 100 times. It's like, God, I've had enough of this. Like really, like this is just dumb. Like, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden, it's like, want to go to Japan? You want to go to Japan again? Want to be on MTV? Want to like wrestle XPW? Want to it's like that's the way that wrestling kind of works. And
back, right, you get all these cool opportunities, and then
yeah, and finally he just had enough. And actually, like for me, wrestling was like I knew that I was turning the corner when I could give back. When I could wrestle people that were younger than me and give them good matches and stuff like that. So that's when I knew I kind of turned the corner. I actually wrestled Kevin. In his very last match.
Me. Yeah.
I wrestled Taro in his very last match.
Oh, Taro!
Yeah.
Are we talking Zokre or are we talking Kevin?
No, Zokre, that's a one-off. You don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's a super kayfabe.
Yeah, I think at the time that I wrestled you, Kevin, I think I was like 40 or 41.
It was February 2011, so you had just turned 41.
Yeah.
And I was not in the best place. That was an insane weekend for me.
Yeah. You just had somebody die that was very close.
Literally, my father passed away 2 days before this show was going to happen. And it wasn't even like a show. It was literally a coworker said, "My son's a huge wrestling fan. Can you put together a wrestling party for me?" So we hit up, his name's John Ian. He used to be an announcer for PWG and UPW. And I hit him up like, "Can we do a birthday party for my coworker's son?" And they're like, "Yeah, I think I can do that." I'm like, "Okay, great." And I'm like, "Michael, will you wrestle me for this show?" And he said, "Sure." And we got some young guys who just wanted to wrestle. And Angelo was on earlier, was the announcer for that show when we did a birthday party. And it wasn't the best weekend for me, but you know what? My dad's the reason why I got into wrestling. My dad used to go to the Olympic Auditorium in the 60s and saw Fred Blassie, Luthez, Lord James Bleers. Like those guys he would tell you that he would see back in the 60s.
Probably saw the Destroyer who's
probably.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's see that. Let's see that tattoo.
Most likely, yes. Yeah, please let me see that. Hell yeah.
Wow, that's badass.
Yeah. And I can honestly say I had the amazing privilege of meeting the Destroyer, Dick Beyer, at his golf course.
Yeah.
Like
I wanted to go to the golf course. Yeah.
Yes, I went because it was right after our friend Top Gun Tower got married. I was like, I'm going to do a trip. I went to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, but after I went to Cleveland, I went to Buffalo. Saw Buffalo Bison's game at like 10:30 in the morning and I had a car and I'm like, I'm going to the Destroyer Park golf course. And I pulled in and didn't realize Dick Beyer was in a golf cart waving at me as I pulled in. Because I'm just like mesmerized by, there's literally a farmhouse with, it says Destroyer Park Golf and the image is him in his mask.
Yeah.
And I park and I pull in and I walk in like, and I'm talking to the owner, which is his daughter. And I'm like, "Oh, is Mr. Beyer here?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's right there in the golf cart." And I'm like, "What?" And I walk up the golf cart and next thing you know, I'm talking to Dick Beyer in his golf cart for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And eventually he's like, "You gonna play?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna play." So, and I went to play with an older couple who play regularly, and I'm just along with them. And I think at the 8th hole, in comes this golf cart, and Dick Beyer went to the point of wearing the Destroyer mask to meet up with me on the course. And I'm just like, this is incredible. So I got a photo with Dick with him wearing the Destroyer mask. He did this just for me being there that day. I hung out for a couple hours. And I got a photo of him wearing the mask, and maybe I can send you the photo, Michael. He's in full Destroyer mask. I'm just there like, "Hi, hey." And the older couple left, and I go to hit go to the back of the golf course, and he tells me, "Hey, kid, you can hit the ball a little harder." I'm like, "Yes, sir." And he drove off, went back home, and the back nine, I went like 2 under. And I was like, all right. I played way more on the back nine after he yelled at me. I was like, all right, yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Park golf, to explain it, it's a thing in Japan that exists because there's not as much land in Japan. And Japanese people love playing golf. So park golf is a smaller version of golf. And every hole is about 100 yards. But the ball is bigger than a golf ball. And you have literally one club. It's like a driver club, I believe, and you hit the ball on the course.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And it was fun for the day I did it. And he made sure to tell me one of the holes is called the Dolly Parton hole because there's 2 big lumps on the side of the hole in the middle. So there you go. That's my Dick Beyer story.
Yeah,
we're
it's
3 hours into a show. Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
no. Well, I mean, and just for reference, I wanted to show. Let's see. Here you go. Yeah, Destroyer Park Golf.
There it is. It is still there and it's still open.
Yeah.
Because his house is literally 1 plot over from the golf course. Like he bought all that land, like I think in the 60s he bought that land, not earlier. He bought that land a long time ago. Oh, gosh. He was a great man, at least the day I met him. And I told him, like, I'm going to Niagara Falls. And he told me how to get there. And he literally yelled at me to make sure I go the exact way he told me as opposed to following MapQuest. I was like, following my Google Maps or Apple Maps. I'm like, yes, sir, I'll follow exactly what you told me.
Amazing.
When did you go? I mean, he died in
2016.
Oh, 16. Was it 16? Wow. Okay,
Whenever
so
Jonathan Talwar got married, it was like that. It was like that time. So to give you guys context, our friend Top Gun Talwar had a bachelor party, and this is a crazy trip. We did San Diego. We went to Tijuana, hung out in Tijuana, and then when we were done, I flew from San Diego to Canton. I went to Atlanta to Akron, and I literally went to an Akron Rubber Ducks game like the day after this bachelor party ended.
Jealous.
And then I went immediately to Canton to go to the Football Hall of Fame on that trip. Then went to Cleveland for a couple days, saw a game in Buffalo and Erie and the Lake County Captains just outside of Cleveland. A Cleveland game, a Pittsburgh game. It was like one of my craziest baseball trips ever.
That sounds like a great trip.
Yeah.
Super
I
fun.
was killing time while Michael was off the show for a second.
For one second. I always push leave studio instead of like stop sharing.
Yeah, that's all right.
It is
Cleveland
what it is.
and Pittsburgh were really fun towns. Pretty underrated. So I didn't know what to expect, but I had a really good time in those cities.
So we have gone
A record.
A record 3 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, we could definitely go for another 3 hours.
Sorry,
and
Daniel.
20
Sorry,
minutes.
Alan. I hope
Thank you. We appreciate it, but we definitely wanted to. If you like what we're doing if anybody's watching, God, we have 4 people watching. So, if they,
hey, you know what? That's more than it was earlier.
Yeah,
I told you earlier.
This has been an endurance test, but it's been a great time. If you want to support what we're doing at the Beer Baseball blog, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Beer Baseball. And, we have an Etsy page where you can buy our different types of content there and check us out. We also have, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Like I said, this has been a labor of love, and we've definitely enjoyed it. And we look forward to having you both back if you guys want to come. You'll have to do another 3 hours and 20 minutes. Is that okay?
Absolutely. And once things are open up again, I think we all need to hit up a game at some point.
100%.
California together. That would be a great time. So
100%. Alan has promised me that I can throw out a first pitch at a baseball game.
So, teams. Make it happen.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hold you to that. But yeah, we definitely look forward. I mean, can we please get rid of this COVID? It is enough already.
It's not that easy, sir.
I'm gonna on the subject of first pitches, and this is a story for Kevin. But
yes, sir.
Are you much of a fan of the Muffs?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, I was at what ended up being the last Muffs show, which was in
my gosh,
was in Vancouver. They came up and played a show with the Smugglers, and it was just a one-off. And then unfortunately, Kim Shattuck had like a terminal illness that ended up, she's no longer with us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we have a really kind of a fun amateur league here in Vancouver called the East Van Baseball League. which is it's all like amateur players around Vancouver, and it's kind of a hipster kind of. It's very much a DIY kind of beer, very much baseball kind of league, right?
Yeah,
it just so happened to coincide with the opening weekend of, and I don't know who arranged this, but Kim Shattuck threw out the opening pitch for the home opener for the East Van Baseball League, and then played.
That's
and then
awesome.
Played, and then played, and she was gushing about it, like I threw out the first pitch of some baseball game today, kind of thing, and then
that's awesome.
Getting to see the Muffs was amazing, and then getting to see the Smugglers, was amazing too.
Oh
so
my God,
like 16
that's
or
tremendous,
maybe. Yeah.
Were the Muffs? There was a benefit show that was going to be going on for Kim, and I think that was right when COVID was going to hit, and I don't think that show ever happened. I'd have to look further into it, because there was something big planned for LA as a benefit for her. Because she had ALS, if I remember correctly.
Oh, how unfortunate.
If I remember correctly, yeah.
Were the Muffs on DGC, Geffen, at some point?
They did sign to a major in the 90s.
Yeah, that's when I kind of knew about them.
Yeah,
because they were on the same. They were on the same as Nirvana, right? And
all the Muffs a few times over the years.
Yeah, for sure. And they're like, I'm probably most famous for they covered Kids in America for the Clueless soundtrack in the 90s.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
there you go. Yeah. But there's one of those bands that was just around doing like power punk stuff for forever. You know what I mean? Kim was good at what she did, and just it's just unfortunate what happened. I don't know what's to say.
Yeah, they were on Sub Pop too, which I remember. So get this. So this is how like crazy life is, right?
Zia. He's a Zia.
So I actually moved to Los Angeles in 1997. I moved to Silver Lake, California, which is just probably just north of Dodger Stadium. And I was all fresh faced and new. Hey, let's do this, right? So the house I moved into in Silver Lake, I had a whole bunch of roommates who I didn't know. I knew one of the roommates. One worked for a record label called Alias Records. There was a band called Trunk Federation that was on there from Arizona that didn't really do much. So this other guy named Tony Keywell, who was my roommate, literally lived like in the room next to me. Tony Keywell wound up leaving Los Angeles and kind of reviving Sub Pop. With a band called the Eels.
Yeah. I remember the Eels. Yeah,
the Eels, and there's another band too that I'm spacing me, but like he revived Sub Pop after they kind of died after their like first wave of like Nirvana and Soundgarden and all that stuff, and so Tony Keywell, and then another friend of mine worked for Capitol Records. Go ahead.
I gotta tell you that Sub Pop has been okay because. Look, if I remember correctly, I went to Seattle in 2019, and there was literally a Sub Pop record shop at the airport.
I was there,
and I was just like mind blown. I'm just like, this is really here? A Sub Pop record? What?
I know the funny thing is they've got really good prices. You assume like the airport's going to have
terrible
prices,
sure.
Right? It's a reasonably priced record store. It's actually quite.
I didn't go that far. I more or less was like flummoxed by that, and then hearing
they're doing fine off of Nirvana royalties, and honestly, the big one that helped them in the last decade or two is the Postal Service. Was a band that
really Postal Service made some money. I didn't know.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Oh. Are you ready for this? This may close out the show.
Sure.
You brought up the Postal Service.
Yes.
So who is in the Postal Service?
So Ben Gibbard, who was in Death Cab for Cutie, which formed in Bellingham, Washington, which we referenced earlier.
Yeah.
And Jenny Lewis did some vocals on the record, but the other main half is a programmer named Jimmy Tramballo, I believe, who's a Southern California guy.
Jimmy Tamborello. So Tony Keywell was to my left. Jimmy Tamborello was on my right.
Wow.
What? Wait, what? Like, wait, what?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
So I used to.
Wait. I'm just like, what?
You don't know
Only
this?
3.5 hours in, and this is
So
happening.
so one of our big reveals, like I had this reveal. So and I'm gonna come back to Jimmy Tamborello. Don't worry.
I love that.
I said
love
I've lived this extraordinary life.
Oh
So
my God.
are you familiar with a guy named Bob Log III?
I don't know that name. No.
Okay.
That,
He used
that
to be
might
in this
for
band
another
called
show.
Do Rag, and if you look him up, you're gonna love him. You're gonna think he's the greatest thing ever. I went to grade school
Michael's
with
very
Bob
biased.
Log
I'm
III.
biased too, Pat. I love the
Yeah,
band,
so
but
he's a
we're
big punk
biased.
rock fan, he does this like kind of like Delta blues guitar, and he's a one-man band. Definitely check him
I'll
out.
send the video. Don't worry.
Yeah, Bob Log III. I went to grade school with Bob Log III, and they and he played. I said he's in Australia now, but I grew up with him in Phoenix. So Jimmy Tamborello. Let me bring this back. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I kept on hearing this like little kind of like little. I won't say it seemed like a drum beat, but it was an electronic beat. And it was their biggest song. I'm spacing.
Such Great Heights.
Yeah. So I would hear that coming out of his room every single day. Okay. When I was this was in 97, 98. So I would hear this thing. A couple years later, I heard it on like a UPS commercial. And I'm like, how do I know this? How do I know this song? This is in my head. Like I would hear this every single day for like months.
Yeah.
And so and then I looked it up. It was like Such Great Heights was like this song is like insane. I wound up meeting a mutual friend of ours, and he's like he met me at Lucha Vavoom. Are you familiar with Lucha Vavoom?
Yes.
So he happened to be at Lucha Vavoom. He goes, "Oh my God, you finally like you became a wrestler, all this stuff." And he goes, "This is incredible." He goes, like Jimmy's like this huge rock star, right?" And I go, "News to me, no. Who is?" And then it's like I found out he was in a postal service and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's this big reveal. It's like like oh my God, like crazy. So Jimmy Tamborello was my roommate when I was when I first moved to LA, and they used to.
I don't know how you ever hear this story.
Fred and Tony used to work at this very seminal LA radio station called KXLU.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you know that, like late 90s like rock and stuff like that. So when I first moved there, they had this big party. And Beck was at our house. I was like, I think I'm where I need to be. Crazy. So like, yeah, I've lived this crazy life. So like the fact that you brought up the postal service, it definitely is awesome. You weren't aware of that, Kevin?
No, I don't know if you told me this. I'm like, what? I don't know this. I've known you for like 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
We talked about this the other day. Ironically enough, I think the first time I met Michael was my first ever match. I think the first day I met him was my first actual match, which, ironically enough, I didn't know until a day before I was going to wrestle. Because I said I'm never going to wrestle. I was going to referee because I was 5'7", 130 pounds. I'm like, I don't want to wrestle. No, because ironically enough, I don't want to get hurt. Anybody who see me wrestle knows that's not what happened to me.
Yeah.
And then literally the day before show, American Wild Child had hookups to bring Pequeño Pieroth and Otro Dragoncito to APW Gym Wars. In 1997, when APW Gym Wars was the the West Coast version of Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
They were trying to get a message out there. Like, yeah, we're hardcore. We're going to bring all these guys in. And they brought Wild Child and I thought it was Hellblazer against Super Dragon and Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
And then they realized Pequeno Piros visa expired, so they've gone across the border, and they said, who is short enough that we know who can wrestle Ultimo Dragon Cito, who wrestles in Arena Mexico in front of crowds of tens of thousands of people with no notice.
Yeah.
And that's me. With literally my experiences refereeing and wrestling on trampolines with Super Dragon. That's my experience.
Amazing.
Yep.
And it's like, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And after about an hour and a half of a couple friends talking to me, I said, fine, if you need me, I'll do it. And I'm literally at work on a Friday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning at the Home Depot. I got a call at work saying my mom's sick and I need to leave. Mind you, my dad worked at the same Home Depot as I did. And I still was like, I got to go. Sorry. And I literally went in the car and drove up 6 hours to Hayward, California to wrestle Ultra Dragon Cito, my first match in August of 1997.
Amazing.
In a costume that I put on incorrectly, to where my the straps are supposed to go on the inside of my costume. I didn't know it, and nobody bothered to tell me. I think it's a rib, because I didn't know how to wear the costume. There was a strap that's supposed to go over my crotch. I was supposed to pull the pants up first, and I didn't know that, and no one bothered to tell me. And it literally just came off and it was hanging loose the whole time because I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. And I'm wrestling a guy who was a star in Mexico.
Yeah.
And he was amazing because he took no liberties with me. He was as professional and as great as could be. Like, and we had a referee who spoke Spanish and English, where I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and we put together the most simple, basic match as possible. And Michael will tell you, it wasn't that terrible, right?
I don't remember it being. I mean, like everything was new to me back then. So, but it was perfectly fine to me. And
I just And
that match with Ron and Hernan.
Well, that match, someone found that match on Daily Motion.
Yeah.
In the past week, I was like, oh my gosh. And I had the hopes like, is my match on there? Because I'd love to just see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it's terrible. It's a 7-minute match. The guy who never wrestled versus like a mini superstar from Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, but there's that the tag match does exist. And I just remember because there was a dragon in a tope con hilo through the ropes, and American Wild Child said his head hit the concrete, and he said he was knocked out.
He got knocked
and
out.
He said, I was a little bit knocked out. All I was dreaming about was my cat. Like, yeah, that's definitely you. That's definitely American Wild Child.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think that kind of brought us down a little bit, is like we tried to like kill each other.
Yeah.
You don't say, but you know what? But you gotta realize that was 1997, and no one was using any of us back then. I mean, I wasn't even a wrestler, but besides the point. But that was what brought. That's the impetus for what happening on the West Coast in general, and you might even say indie wrestling. AEW took a chance of bringing in like Dragon, Blitzkrieg, Hellblazer, Wild Child. These guys who more or less trained themselves. Dragon and American Wild Child had some lucha training, but still, they were more inspired by the Japanese wrestling. People weren't doing that style back then.
Yeah.
And that's why, I can tell you right now, SoCal indie groups were not going to touch any of us. I mean, I say us, including myself, but they wouldn't touch us for years because we weren't traditionally trained. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's funny because people will talk about the PWG style, and I'm just like, wow, that's a style now. Wow.
You know, and the whole thing we talked about tonight was DIY punk rock. That was the whole impetus of Revolution Pro starting. Was we couldn't get booked, so it's like, you know what? Let's do it ourselves.
Yep.
And American Wild Child was able to get enough money from what he was doing with videos, even if it was through scrupulous ways on eBay mostly. Yeah. You know, and I admit I'm the one helping to help run the thing. You know, selling tapes on eBay that were mostly bootlegs, but hey, you know what? It's 20 years later, whatever. Yeah. But we used that facility to use his training and Dragon's training in lucha in locally or in Tijuana to help train local guys. And we trained some pretty good guys there at first. And later, obviously, we trained Scorpio Sky. We helped train Quicksilver. We helped train me, you, and the Bucks did some training with us well. So obviously it did work out in the end.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You know, we were just trying to do our own DIY and just we want to wrestle. And the only way
That's
we're
all we
wrestle
want to
is
do is wrestle, right? That's
do it
100%.
ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to touch us.
Yeah. And you know,
And that's very admirable that, you know, there's been points where some of us have been like with AWC about stuff, but you know what? He provided us that platform and we were able to take advantage of it. So we got, you know, I'm grateful for what happened.
Yeah.
You know, and I've joked at points like what we did is help out wrestling in a much bigger way than I would ever have imagined, you know?
And to kind of tie things in a knot, you know, the entire reason that we're here today is because we grew up as fans of you guys. And so,
which blows my mind.
And now we're here talking about all of this stuff. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, we could go on for another 4 hours about all this stuff. So
I didn't mean to keep you guys so long.
No. It's we appreciate your time and everything. We definitely would like to meet, and I can't wait till the day that we can all be at a baseball game together.
Yes,
that's the dream, right? And one thing that I said when I started the blogcast was that, you know, pro wrestling brought us together, but baseball keeps us together.
Yeah.
You know, through the future. So I'm super ecstatic that you took the time for us today, meeting a new friend, reconnecting with an old friend. Yeah. Thank you, Allan. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Kevin. And we appreciate all your time. If you have watched all 3 hours, 37 minutes of this, please send me a DM because I will give you a special prize. I have a special prize for you if you can prove that you've been here for this whole time.
Yeah. Daniel, this is between the sheets level here, almost.
almost, yeah.
Again, we could go hours
we could have, but we're gonna get ourselves off here.
So thank you so much. If you want to find out more about us, obviously check out our Patreon page, but also our Beer Baseball blogcast, which is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check us out. We do it every week. This will be the 68th week. 68th week in a row that we've done this. So we love baseball. We love craft beer. We love wrestling. We love all of it. And thank you to our Canadian friends for joining us. Actually, a funny story real quick. I actually sent this to the wrong house and actually had to go get it right before the show. So I almost didn't have this hat for the show.
No.
Yeah. Go figure.
Allan, Daniel, what do you got to plug?
Yeah, please plug away.
I got SOS Pro Wrestling in Seattle on September 10th at Hales Brewing. Hales Brewing in Seattle.
Awesome.
Follow me on social media at Daniel Makabe, DanielMakabe. That's where you'll get me on Twitter and Instagram. As far as upcoming bookings, the only thing that's been officially announced is Friday, September 24th in St. Louis for St. Louis Anarchy. Wrestling the Monarch Jeremy Wyatt, who's an amazing technical wrestler from the Midwest. That will be streaming live on Twitch and then will be available on demand on IWTV, which Kevin is a new subscriber to.
Yep.
Yes.
And then once things open up, you're going to be seeing me pop up a whole heck of a lot more in the Northwest for promotions in Seattle, like Without a Cause, who run Everett, Washington. 5cc, which Allan has a hand in. They run Bellingham, Washington, and everywhere, few and far between, all over the place. Hopefully, eventually in Southern California. But
I hope so.
There are irons in the fire for more dates in the South, in Tennessee, in Georgia, and elsewhere. It's all coming down to the border opening and. Maybe people acting a little bit smarter about this thing that is a very real thing that's out there. So
that's my big.
That was me.
I can hope the Hillsborough. I hope the Vancouver Canadians can play in Vancouver before the year ends.
That's not going to happen probably, but we are getting the Jays are going home to Toronto and the Whitecaps are coming back to Vancouver. So
All right.
September 11th, they actually get to go to a baseball game and a Sounders game the same day.
He gets to go.
Yeah.
Got that booking in Seattle on the 10th, and then he's going to a Mariners game and a Sounders game. Those stadiums are right next to each other, so I'm very jealous.
Yep.
Right.
Him, so.
Walking distance, right?
And hey, I hope you're going to stop at Ebbets.
Yeah, Ebbets
been
Field
in a couple
Flannels is
years.
right
Come on,
there.
you got to stop at Ebbets.
And also Pike Brewing is right there. And also Cigar. Is it?
Hey, whoa. Don't tell the man to drink before a match.
Oh,
all right?
sorry about that. I didn't say that.
We don't want to influence his performance in the ring, all right?
Wrestling in a brewery.
Yeah, Pike Brewing. Definitely go to Pike Brewing. Sorry. You didn't hear that from me. All right. Thank you so much. Join us on Tuesday. You guys hang out real quick, and we will see you on Tuesday. Good night, everyone.